Evening, everyone. We are calling this meeting to order. It is 5 p.m. We do have our trustee Pachowski who will be joining us a little bit later, but he will be here with us shortly. So we have the 1.1 2020 Ventura County Community College District Ground Rules and the 2022 Board Vision for us trustees to be able to reference to throughout our meeting. 1.2 Chancellor's recommendation of the agenda.
Recommended as presented.
1.3, we have public comments. And in public comments, we have Robert Preston Pipple, followed by Rachel Messinger. We should have a mic as our IT team that we are able to provide a team so we're able to capture the comments. It's okay, but we want to make sure if everyone, whoever's looking online, is able to listen.
All right, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, Chancellor and members of the Board of Trustees. My name is Preston Pipel. I am a former tenured faculty member at Ventura College. I taught at VC for 7 years and genuinely expected my career to last my entire teaching time. Ultimately, though, I had to make the difficult decision to leave for a faculty position at a different community college district. The reason why I'm speaking to you tonight is I want to offer the perspective of someone who has seen firsthand how equal lab pay can make a difference in faculty lives. During my 7 years at Ventura College, we ran part-time hiring committees almost every semester. We would hire multiple instructors, and then within a semester or two, almost all of them would leave to neighboring districts that offered equal lab pay. I've stayed in contact with several of my colleagues who are still at VC, and unfortunately, the situation is the same as when I left. That turmoil has real consequences. It means that some semesters classes have to be canceled because there's simply not enough instructors to teach. Other times, the department has to string together multiple substitutes throughout the semester in order to just try to get students through the class. And ultimately, it's students that pay the price for that. They don't have continuity of instruction, and they may have to wait 1 or more semesters to finish the courses they need to graduate. My current district is San Jose Evergreen, so I'm up north in the Bay Area. We have equal lecture lab pay. I've been there 3 years. In those 3 years, we've had to replace 1 part-time faculty member who left for another district, and we have not canceled a single class due to lack of instructors. Our classes are full, faculty stay, and most importantly, students get the courses they need to graduate. I'm sharing all of this because I care deeply about my former colleagues and my students who are still going to college here, and some of them have gone on to medical school and nursing school. I wanted to stay at VC, but ultimately I had to make a financial decision that was best for me, and that decision was leaving. And a big part of that was the lab pay issue. The good news is it doesn't have to be this way. You can choose to make equal lab pay a priority so that talented faculty don't face the same decision I had to face 3 years ago. STEM courses and CTE courses give students the skills they need in order to gain direct employment or to move on to advanced academic programs like nursing. And I think that's one of the best things about our community college system is we give students those opportunities. But that system only works when you can hire and retain faculty. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Preston. Rachel, followed by Sonia Sadie Merchant.
Good evening. I'm Rachel Messenger, reading for Nora Vlazoff. Dear members of, sorry, I'm just going to move this down. Dear members of the Board of Trustees, my name is Nora Vlazoff, and I'm a lab instructor at Moore Park College in the Ventura County Community College District. Although I am unable to attend today's meeting in person, I would like to express my continued support for achieving equitable compensation for laboratory instruction. Lab instructors play a critical role in student success by providing the hands-on learning experiences that prepare students for transfer, careers, and professional practice. Our responsibilities extend well beyond the hours we spend in the classroom. We devote significant time to preparing laboratory materials, setting up equipment, ensuring compliance with safety protocols, supervising students during complex laboratory activities, maintaining equipment, and completing cleanup after each lab session. These responsibilities require specialized knowledge, careful planning, and constant attention to student safety. Despite these additional responsibilities, laboratory instruction continues to be compensated at a lower rate than lecture instruction. This disparity does not accurately reflect the scope, complexity, or educational value of work performed by lab faculty. I respectfully ask the board to continue supporting meaningful progress toward full lab pay parity. Many California community college districts have already demonstrated that equitable compensation for lab instruction is both achievable and sustainable. I hope our district will continue moving in that direction and demonstrate its commitment to fairness, equity, and the outstanding educational experiences we strive to provide our students every day. Thank you for your time, your consideration, and your commitment to serving both our students and faculty.
Thank you, Rachel. Sonia, followed by Suzanne Fagan.
Good afternoon, Board of Trustees and everyone here. Thank you for the opportunity to speak here. My name is Sonia Zaidi Merchant, and I am a full-time instructor at Ventura College. And just like the other faculty members, I would like to bring your attention to two concerns that directly affect our instructors, including me. The first one is lab pay disparity. As instructors, we do really put in a lot of time, skill, and preparation into our labs. Teaching in a lab not just requires that you just show up, but you need to have the knowledge, the technique, the skills, and the ability to safely and effectively teach our students and prepare them for their allied health careers in the future. When instructors are expected to spend additional hours prepping, teaching, setting up, breaking down, supporting students in the lab, but they're not compensated for that time, it really creates a disparity. And our time and expertise has value. So the hours we work should be recognized and fairly compensated. The second part of this also sort of bleeds into this is not having a raise and the cost of living. For the last few years, we have not received a meaningful raise. And then, of course, there's the lab disparity, while the cost of everyday life has continued to significantly increase. Food, gas, housing, especially gas for a person like me who commutes about 106 miles a day to come and teach here. And I just want to mention, I didn't know Dr. Pipel was going to be here today. He hired me 4 years ago and he disappeared and he left us after the semester. So I have thought in the last 3 years to quit and get another job because I won't have to drive and the pay is different. But I do love working at Ventura College and especially my colleagues and my students. So I'm here. I understand institution has financial responsibilities and probably difficult decisions to make, but employees are also feeling these financial pressures and in our personal life. At the end of the day, investing in your educators is investing in your students. When instructors feel valued and fairly compensated, it helps the overall morale, retention of good educators, the quality of education that we can provide to our students. I'm asking the board today to recognize the work instructors are doing, address the disparity in compensation, and consider meaningful salary increases that reflect both the value of our work and the rising cost of living. We aren't simply asking today just to give us more money. We're asking for recognition of the value that we bring to this institution and to our students. We invest our time and energy into our students. We genuinely want them to succeed. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Sonia. Suzanne, followed by Nathan Cole.
My name is Suzanne Fagan. I'm reading on behalf of Jamie Maxey. Chancellor McClellan, trustees and guests, My wish was to be able to speak in person tonight. However, due to my commitment to my students, my profession, my county, and the district, I am currently conducting clinical orientation with over 40 students so they may enter the various local hospitals this week, having met all of their agency requirements and knowledge acquisition needs. Yes, I usually stand before you and state that it is unfair, unjust, and inequitable to require lab faculty to work 15 to 25% more hours than our non-lab counterparts to be considered full-time equivalents. Instead, I'm going to paint to you a picture of my week. Yesterday at 800 o'clock at 800 hours, arrive on campus for class prep, 900 to 1100, lecture with a 10-minute break, 1100 to 1300 hours, office hour, answer emails, coordinate clinical agency requirements, prep for participatory governance meeting, no lunch, exclamation point, only one potty break, 1300 to 1500 hours, lecture, no break because class break time students had questions and faculty needed support, 1500 to 1800, faculty meetings, 1800 to 1830, drive home, 1830 to 2200, complete student review of agency requirements and email instructors of updates. No dinner, exclamation point. Today, 600 o'clock, 600 hours, arrive on campus for class prep, 700 to 900, administer exam to class, 900 to 930, analyze results of exam and record results, 930 to 10. Travel to clinical hospital facility, 10 to 1400. Conduct clinical orientation with 30 students, 1400 to 1430. Travel to campus, 1430 to 1500. Preparation for participatory governance meeting, 1500 to 1600. Participatory governance meeting, 1600 to 1630. Travel to home, 1630, 1700. First meal of the day, 1700 to 1830. Online orientation with 60 students and 7 faculty members. Wednesday, it will be a miracle if I make it out of bed. 2100 scheduled online Zoom meeting with my ethics class students. Thursday, 500 to 530, drive to clinical facility. 530 to 615, prep for student arrival. This entails reviewing clinical caseload and nurse assignments on 4 different clinical units. 615 to 1930. Clinical with students. Yes, that is 13 hours and 15 minutes. During that time, I will be lucky to get 1 bathroom break and 1 15-minute food break. Let me ask you a question. Would you work like that knowing that the time you just spent was only 85% on the whole hour? I had more. Thank you.
Susan. Nathan, followed by Ty Gardner.
Hello, my name is Nathan Cole and I'm with AFT. Greeting trustees. On Tuesday, September 8th, the union and the district have a very important mediation that could be our last. We have been negotiating with the district over a compressed calendar since the spring of 2024. While this process has been lengthy, I believe we are closer to an agreement today than we have ever been. Recently, a faculty member asked me, why can't you just figure this out? Our other districts have. The reality is that this issue is more complex than it may appear. The circumstances facing our district are different from those faced by many districts that transitioned years ago. Before the state adopted its current attendance accounting methodology, districts often had to schedule additional instructional hours to avoid losing FTES funding when shortening their semesters. Today, that is no longer necessary. A 3-unit class meeting for 48 hours over a semester generates the same state apportionment as a 3-unit class meeting for 54 hours. However, the state's conversion formulas still require districts to account for instructional time in a way that creates challenges during the transition process. The remaining issue for AFT is straightforward: how to address the additional face-to-face instructional hours that may be required under the state's conversion method. Throughout mediations, AFT has proposed multiple solutions that comply with state requirements. Some would cost the district nothing, others would require only limited expenditures tied to specific course configurations, and yet others proposed are broader options that would compensate faculty when additional instructional hours are required. Yet in all of these, the union continues to grant the district grace. Based on the district's own 2024-2025 data, the proposal currently before the parties would cost approximately $150,000 annually across all 3 colleges. In the context of a district our size, we believe there is still room to find even more common ground. For faculty, this issue is not about abstract numbers. An additional $200 per course may not seem significant to some, but for many faculty members teaching multiple sections each semester, these amounts add up quickly. At a time when housing, food, healthcare, and everyday expenses continue to rise, compensation matters. We've also been told that these additional hours are simply part of the job. However, our collective bargaining agreement defines instructional load in terms of specific hours and workload expectations. When faculty are asked to work beyond those established expectations, we believe there should be a fair conversation about compensation. AFT is committed to reaching an agreement. We believe faculty want a compressed calendar. We believe it can benefit students, faculty, and the district. But we cannot support a proposal that requires faculty to absorb additional work without appropriate consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. Ty, followed by Lilia Rubalcaba.
Thank you, Board and Chancellor. I'm here to speak also about lab pay. I'm a lab instructor at Ventura College. I teach anatomy and I teach general biology. And I wanted to give you kind of a little bit of an insight into the difference between my day and that of an instructor who teaches asynchronous online classes. So as you've already heard, my day involves getting in a car and going to work. If I were teaching an asynchronous online class, I would not need to do that. When I get to work teaching a lab, I get 3 hours on my feet running back and forth as quickly as I can to address all of the students' needs without any breaks. If I were teaching an asynchronous online class, I'd be sitting at home on my couch in my jammies. Between my lab and my lecture, I'm supposed to have a 10-minute break. I'm usually not lucky enough to have that. Thankfully, today I did have 3 minutes to go pee prior to going to lecture. Tomorrow, it may not be so lucky, where I'll be teaching a lab followed by a lecture followed by a lab without any breaks in between. My question to you is, why are lab instructors who go physically to work, who are working on their feet, who are busy all day long, don't get paid the same as instructors who can work from home because they happen to be teaching a lecture? You might think that that's a difference in what we put into our Canvas shells. I can guarantee you that it isn't. My Canvas shell has practice quizzes for everything I do. It has hundreds, if not thousands, of images that are placed into those. It has lectures in there, supplementary materials, things that help students study. All the things you would expect to find in an online course are in my course. The difference is I come to work, I show up, I help students directly. I engage with students regarding any issues that they're having. I can take students to utilize services in person while I'm on campus, and I'm there if they need a shoulder to cry on. So my question is, why are your priorities so out of whack? Why are we paying online instruction at higher rates than we are for people who come to work? Thank you.
Thank you, Ty. Lilia, followed by Beatriz Herrera.
Good afternoon, trustees, chancellor, and colleagues. As the district moves forward with the compressed calendar, AFT 1828 asks that you consider 3 practical, fiscally responsible options. The first one is to schedule in-person sections with the same start time and a different end time based on the COR, the course of record. The contact hours faculty teach would correspond to the contact hours required for any particular course. The second option is to adjust the length of the semester by offering a late start or an early end sections. The late starts are particularly have advantages to students, especially if they are needing a class late in the semester and they're looking for a class to enroll in. These 2 options have an important advantage. They do not cost the district anything. And in addition, they do not require faculty to teach additional time beyond the current contact hours of the course. The third option is just as equally straightforward and important. If the district requires faculty teaching in-person courses to provide instructional time beyond the contact hours established in the COR, then faculty should be compensated for those additional hours. The principle is simple. Additional required work should come with additional compensation. The recent Long Beach Community College District case should also give us reason to be thoughtful. That case was not about the compressed calendar itself, but it highlights an important principle. When a district requires additional faculty work, compensation for the work needs to be addressed. That is why AFT 28 third option matters. If implementation of the compressed calendar requires faculty to teach additional instructional time beyond the contact hours for which they are currently compensated for, that additional time should be compensated. A compressed calendar should change the calendar, not quietly increase the workload. AFT 1828 is not presenting a problem without a solution. We are presenting three workable options. To have an additional cost to the district, to do not have an additional cost to the district. The third one fairly compensates faculty if the district chooses to require additional instructional time. We ask the district to work with AFT 1828 to choose a solution that is fair for faculty, fiscally responsible, and supports our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Lilia. Beatriz?
Am I ready to go? Good evening, trustees, chancellor, executive team, and guests. This evening, I'm here to speak on behalf of AFT Local 1828 as grievance chair. It is an exciting time of the year for all of us. However, it is still an academic year of uncertainty at Oxnard College from the inquiries and concerns OC faculty have expressed to this union. OC faculty are in a lot of stress and confusion due to the lack of permanent executive leadership. We all know we've had different teams that the district has sent over to Oxnard College, and the faculty are extremely appreciative of that. However, in a recent hire of 2 full-time instructional deans, because there was 2 vacancies, the deans that were hired to fill these positions, apparently there's been a restructuring, and one dean is assigned a lot more disciplines than the other. The newly hired dean is taking on several other disciplines from one previous dean position. The other dean is doing instruction, only 2 disciplines, and student services. The vice president of student affairs, who's a permanent employee, is now supervising athletics, coaching, and ICA. Never seen that happen before, unless it's an extremely temporary measure, but that is concerning to the faculty. Why? Because faculty are reporting concerns and issues that not having 2 full-time instructional deans dividing the instructional work equally, their instructional areas may not get the attention, advocacy, and oversight needed. Some faculty have been left with issues that have been unsolved, unresolved, unaddressed, ignored from previous deans, and now with the new dean structure, added concerns are arising. AFT is concerned about this new OC dean structure, and we're asking you if you believe this is a structure that's sustainable, effective, and efficient, along with not having a permanent OC permanent executive team in place. So at this point, we're very concerned about labor issues arising with this type of structure that you have right now. And yes, we have made a promise that we will continue working through these issues as they arise with your current OC executive team, because that's what we do. We take it forward, not just to the local campus, but also to the district. At this time, we're asking you as a board to please move forward in hiring a permanent OC executive team. Permanent is needed. Every 3 months, switching that team is not helpful to the faculty, to the students, and to the community. So we're hoping that your leadership is going to come and shine through sooner versus later. Thank you.
Thank you, B. With this, we conclude with public comments. 1.4, changes to the agenda. Trustees, as you can see, there were revisions in item 7.1.2 includes a revised attachment that replaces the version in the originally published agenda packet. You'll also see that there's supplemental material. Item 6.5, we have the Moore Park College Academic Senate President Report that was provided as supplemental material. Item 6.6, you also have the Moore Park College President's Report that was provided as a supplemental material. And item 7.2.7, exhibit 3 through 6 were provided as supplemental materials. 1.5, are there any consent items to be pulled at this moment from any of the trustees? Okay, given, okay. Seven point two point nine. Okay. Any other trustees? Okay, so at this moment, we just have item to be pulled from the consent calendar 7.2.9 by trustee Chancellor. So with this, we are now moving on to closed session. We should be back here hopefully by 6:30. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We are convening from closed session. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. We took a little bit longer. And actually, after we adjourn this meeting, we will go back to closed session as a board to continue with our discussion, but there is nothing to report at this moment. We will now reconvene in open session, and I'm going to ask Trustee Mantus to please lead us in the pledge to the flag. So we do have our public comments. And we have 3 public comments here. We have one by Dean Katz, followed by Charlotte Craven.
We're live now, baby. Here we go. Anyhow, hi, my name is Dean Katz and I live up in the city of Ventura and I live near the college there. I come here bearing bad news. They've closed the tennis facility over by me in Camino Real Park. And the courts become just unplayable. The conditions are, deteriorating so bad. There people have fallen and injured themselves. And so here I am, and you're probably wondering what I'm doing here. I should mention I do own my home there. And I think that's important that I'm part of the great engine that keeps us all going. Anyhow, you may be wondering why I'm actually here. It's that I have a serious tennis addiction, and it's a problem. I'm suffering without my tennis courts. And so the bottom line here is I retired as a filmmaker from Hollywood, and now I've got too much free time, and most of that excess time is on the tennis courts. And now I've got little else to do to come here and bother you all. So at one time, the courts at the Ventura College were open. And so I'm here requesting that we reopen them to the public in some shape or form, even if it's on a limited basis, but it would be very helpful. My understanding is that also that the Moore Park College tennis courts have been repurposed for pickleball and that the public is currently playing there. So that sort of sets a precedent for us all to sort of help maybe manage to make this happen a little easier. I think that's probably all of it. I just want to mention again that this is a great sport, gets everybody outside playing together. We are socially engaged. We're getting exercise, getting fresh air. Hope to see you out there. Thanks for listening. Good night.
Chair Torres.
Thank you, Dean Katz. Trustee Gutowski.
If I may briefly speak to that. Actually, Mr. Katz, Dr. Sokanu, president of Moore Park College, was sitting here shaking his head saying, no, they haven't been repurposed to pickleball at Moore Park College. But I also do want to point out the fact that the courts at Oxnard College were repurposed into a solar farm, which is far worse, in my opinion, than pickleball.
We're going to, so We have our next speaker. So we have Charlotte Craven, followed by Jane McAndrew.
I urge you to reconsider your decision to not renew Dr. McLennan's contract. My contract with him is through the Regional Defense Partnership, a community-based group that lobbies for and assists local military bases, the largest employer in the county. At our June meeting, we marveled at how greatly, under his leadership, communication between Navy-based Ventura County tenant commands, the community colleges, the school districts, and local universities has expanded. His passion for increasing educational opportunities and helping students get job training has changed the direction of some of our lobbying. I have been treasurer of RDP since 2006, and never before have I heard of so many programs for your students. Dr. McLennan has not just concentrated his efforts in one area, such as completing the process of getting Moorpark College accredited to issue four-year degrees. He's also worked with many local employers to help students find good long-term careers right here at home, not just with the Navy, but with private sector companies as well. My example is the Navy internship and work programs designed for minority students who live in our area. They have the opportunity to learn new job skills and work in Navy programs while they further their education. The advantage to the Navy is that new hires from out of the area only last a short time before leaving because of the high cost of living, while local students have proven to stay here for long-term employment. This has greatly expanded under Dr. McLennan's tenure. The advantage to the students is that they learn new skills. They can work while they're in new skills. They can work while they're in high school, community college, or Cal State Channel Islands, and have federal government experience when they complete their education. That experience is golden. They are practically guaranteed a job near their homes when they finish their education. Even when there's a federal hiring freeze, people with federal experience can be brought back on board. Those are good paying jobs with good insurance and good retirement. I have not seen this level of effort for students from any other VCCCD chancellor in the 24 years I've worked with RDP or in the 36 years that I spent on the Camarillo City Council. My fear is that when he leaves, the momentum will stop and many programs will not continue. In the end, your students will suffer. Again, I urge you to continue his contract.
Thank you.
Chair Torres, can you repeat the speaker's name, please?
Yes. Charlotte Craven.
Craven, thank you.
Next, we have Jane McAndrew.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, and also Chancellor. It's good for me to be here this evening. I am the retired CEO of the Camarillo Healthcare District, which is a publicly elected board. It's see what did I want to say to you? Gosh, I haven't spoken in public in quite some years, so this is important. Anyhow, it's a political subdivision of the state of California, so I work for a publicly elected board like you are. So I know the ins and outs of that. In fact, before that, I was institutional advancement at Oxnard College under Elise Schneider and also Tom Larkin. And I'm happy to see that this building is in his memory. He died an untimely death. At any rate, being with the Camarillo Healthcare District and my experience with the Community College District, I was asked to serve on many, many selection committees. And I got to do that for presidents of universities to chancellors. So I have a knowledge of what goes on with hiring the proper person. I noticed Dr. McClellan followed what he has been doing. And it has been an outstanding job. I don't think since Thomas Larkin, you've had a chancellor that has done as much as he has. I won't go over what, because Charlotte did go over what he's done. But the amount of things that he's done has probably been due to the C pyramid, and that is communication, which he does, cooperation, and collaboration. And I think that should be his middle name. It should be Dr. Dr. Rick C. McClellan, because of how expertise he is in those things. I also served many years ago on the Ventura County Taxpayers Association, and this is a taxpayers issue. If you are going to go out and do a search, it is going to cost you money when you have the right person here. So consider the taxpayers when you do this, if you're going to terminate him. I hope you're not. I encourage you to rethink your thinking, and I'm glad that you didn't make a decision and come out of public comment with it or go into public comment with it. So at any rate, I implore you to do the right thing and retain someone that you have that is absolutely perfect to make this community college district soar. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Jane. And this concludes our public comments. 3.4, additional consent items to be pulled. We do have trustee Chancellor 7.2.9. Is there any additional items from trustees? Okay. 4.1, acknowledgement of new employees. So congratulations to all of the employees who have joined our Ventura County Community College District family. They will be acknowledged and recognized with the different reports from the Senate. Also, we have 4.2, recognition of Ventura County Community College District retirees. And we can see who they are, and we're very deeply grateful for all of the service that they have provided to our district throughout their years serving us and being able to be of care, love, and support to all of our students. So we wish them all the best in this new adventure that they're not going to encounter. We now move to consultations, and we'll start with the classified Senate president from Ventura College.
Good evening. This is my first time. Good evening, Chancellor McClellan, members of the Board of Trustees, student trustee Vasquez, and guests. My name is Matthew Moore, and I serve as the classified Senate president of Ventura College. This evening, I will be providing a consultation on the following items. 4.1, new employee. On behalf of Ventura College Classified Senate, we welcome all employees who were recently hired or promoted throughout the district. A special welcome to Sofia Maldonado, a student services assistant. We are happy to have you at Ventura College and look forward to having you as part of our campus community. We also welcome two members of Ventura College's leadership team, Dr. Renee T. Watson, Interim Vice President of Student Affairs, and Dr. Russell Frohart, Interim Dean of the Science Division. We look forward to working with them and welcome the experience and leadership they bring to Ventura. Retiree recognition. We extend our appreciation to Ned Mercetic for his many years of service to Ventura College. Throughout his career in physical education and coaching, he has supported students and contributed to our campus community. We congratulate Ned on his retirement and wish him all the best in the years ahead. And 7.2, summer 2026 candidates for graduate certificates. Congratulations to all students across the Ventura County Community College District who have earned a degree or certificate this summer. Special congratulations to our Ventura College graduates. We celebrate your hard work and accomplishments and wish you continued success in your education and personal journeys.
Thank you. Oxnard College.
Good evening, Chancellor McClellan, members of the Board of Trustees, and guests. My name is Berenice Rodriguez. I'm the Oxnard College Classified Senate President. Tonight, I will be providing consultation on the following items. So 4.1, acknowledgement of new employees. We welcome all new employees of VCCCD, and I would especially like to extend a warm welcome to Carla Celis, the new bilingual admissions and records technician at Oxnard College. We're excited to have her join our campus community and wish her great success in her new role. 4.2, the recognition of the retirees. I would like to congratulate both Robert Hout and Ned Mercetic on their retirement. I wish them both an amazing and fulfilling retirement after dedicating 27 and 43 years respectively to our district. 7.3.2, the approval of summer 2026 candidates for graduation and certificates. Congratulations to all the summer 2026 graduates and certificate recipients. It's an important milestone, and I wish each and every one of the students a continued success in their future endeavors. I would like to circle back to 6.4, my classified Senate president report, to highlight a few items from my report. I would like to thank and acknowledge all the classified professionals, associated student government members, faculty, and administrators who took the time of their very busy schedules to participate in our Welcome Back event over these past 2 days. Our campus was brought back to life as new and returning students filled our campus. It was especially rewarding to see students wearing shirts that we distributed as part of our welcome efforts. I'm also happy to announce that the classified professionals won our annual faculty versus classified slow pitch softball game this past Friday during the All College Day. It's always wonderful to see colleagues step away from their offices and come together for some friendly competition and camaraderie. I would like to congratulate the colleagues recognized through our exceptional 8 awards. The selecting recipients is never easy because every nominee is deserving of recognition. This is a special recognition that we do during All College Day. And I am pleased to share that Samantha Greta Chavary received the John Melton Excellence Award and Service Award by a classified employee. And in addition, Laura Barroso received the District Champion Award for Excellence in Service to Oxnard College. We're incredibly grateful for the work both have done to support Oxnard College, especially over this past year. And Chancellor McLennan, I would like to mention that I did present Laura with some classified Senate swag this evening, so now she can proudly wear it. Thank you.
Thank you. Moore Park College.
Good evening, Chancellor McLennan, members of the board, and guests. My name is Melanie Matthews-Salak, and I serve as the Classified Senate Vice President. I'm happy to be here this evening. I will be providing consultation on the following items. Item 4.1, acknowledgement of new employees. We'd like to welcome all of our new employees to the district. I'd especially like to acknowledge new faculty, Phil Michael and Karen Rodriguez Enriquez, who are joining Moore Park College. Welcome to Moore Park College and congratulations. For item 4.2, recognition of district retirees, I'd like to congratulate the 2 retirees from Ventura College in the district center and thank them for their years of service. Item 7.3.2, congratulations to all of the summer 2026 graduates. Thank you.
Thank you. DAC.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, Chancellor McLennan, Student Trustee Velasquez, and members of the public. My name is Diana Martin, and I serve as a classified Senate President for the District Administrative Center. In consultation of item 4.1, I would like to congratulate Imelda Luna on her promotion to financial analyst here at the district. And congratulations as well to all of our colleagues who were hired or promoted across the district this period. In consultation of item 4.2, on behalf of the DAC Classified Senate, congratulations to Robert Hott on his retirement. 27 years of service as maintenance worker and warehouse operator at the District Administrative Center. Robert was a steady, reliable presence in our building with a dry sense of humor. I will never forget how he liked to call himself Roberto Caliente. He will be deeply missed, and we wish him and his family the very best in the next chapter. In consultation of item 7.4.1, I'm glad to recommend approval of this month's personnel actions. Each hire and promotion here represents someone stepping into new responsibility, and that is worth acknowledging. In consultation of item 7.4.2, I want to note strong support for the new ADA accessibility coordinator position at the District Administrative Center with Title II digital accessibility requirements now in effect. This role gives the district a dedicated expert to help us meet those obligations and streamline the workflows around them. Accessibility is everyone's responsibility, but having someone to lead that effort makes the work lighter for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Ventura College Academic Senate.
Good evening, Chair Torres, trustees, Chancellor McLennan, Student Trustee Velasquez, and guests. I am Jennifer Garner, the Academic Senate President at Ventura College. In consultation of Agenda Item 4.2, the retirement of Ned Mercedic, the Academic Senate extends a heartfelt thanks to Ned for nearly 43 years of service to Ventura College, beginning November 23rd, 1983. Throughout his career in physical education and coaching, Ned has shaped the athletic and academic experience of generations of students. On the basketball court, Ned coached with a fire and intensity that players and spectators alike won't forget. We wish him a well-earned and joyful retirement effective July 29th, 2026. For agenda item 7.3.2, the Academic Senate joins the board in celebrating the students who earned degrees and certificates this summer. These achievements reflect real dedication and often real sacrifice on the part of our students. We are proud of them and wish them continued success in their next steps. Go Pirates. Agenda item 7.4.1, we want to welcome new part-time faculty and want them to feel like they are part of the Ventura College family. Welcome to Yana Butterfield in history, Jordan Fleck in coaching, Alondra Morales in counseling, David Parsons in history, Leandra Samaya in nursing, Wendy Sanchez, ESL, and Eddie Williams in history. We are glad to have them join the faculty ranks and look forward to their contributions to student success. Thank you.
Thank you. Moore Park College.
Good evening, Chancellor McLennan, trustees, colleagues, and guests. My name is Nicole Block, and I am the Academic Senate President at Moore Park College. Regarding item 4.1, we would like to welcome our wonderful new full-time faculty members, Nicholas Ferraro in physics astronomy, Jacqueline Gonzalez Belmontes in counseling, Ollie Leffler in comm studies, Phil Michael in counseling, Lindsay Palmer in animal training and management, John Fu in health sciences, Karen Rodriguez Enriquez in counseling, Kathleen Rowley in English, and Samantha Wang in counseling. Regarding 7.3.2, congratulations to all the students who earned associate's degrees, certificates, and a bachelor's degree over the summer. 7.4.4, we would like to support the approval of a proctor position at Moore Park College. In addition to the regular proctoring that is required, artificial intelligence is changing the way we give authentic assessments, and in-person proctoring is helpful to continue to ensure academic integrity. Thank you.
Thank you. Associate Student Government, Ventura College.
Chair Torres, Board of Trustee members, Chancellor McLennan, and Student Trustee Velasquez. I am Brianna Becerra. I am to serve as the ASBC President. ASBC would like to recognize and provide comments on the following board item. Item 4.2, ASBC would like to recognize Ned Morastic and thank him for his service and contributions to Ventura College. We greatly appreciate his time, dedication, and support he has provided onto our campus and community. Item 7.43, ASBC is in support of the Director of Marketing position at Ventura College. We believe this position is important in strengthening our college's outreach, communication, and overall visibility. Having this position specifically focused on gathering data, sharing information, and promoting on the college can help ensure students and the board community are better informed about the resources, programs, and opportunities Ventura College has to offer. Item 9.1.1, ASBC would like to inquire further information for the proposed EV charges fees, particularly because this matter falls under the 9+1 rights of students. We would appreciate additional information regarding the proposed fees and how they determine, along with how they may impact students. ASBC would also like to ensure that the student input is considered as these items move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Oxnard College.
Hello. Oh, hi. Okay. Good evening, Madam Chair Torres, members of the board, Student Trustee Velasquez, Chancellor McLennan, and guests. My name is Natalia Jimenez, and this is my consultation for the month of August.
Item 4.1, acknowledgement of new employees. On behalf of the Oxnard College Associated Student Government, we'd like to welcome all employees coming into the Ventura County Community College District. A special welcome to Ms. Susan Allison and Ms. Carla Salas to Oxnard College. We are excited to welcome you to our campus community, and we wish you both a wonderful start to the academic year and look forward to working with you. Item 7.3.2, approval of summer 2026 candidates for graduation and certificates at Moore Park, Oxnard, and Ventura colleges. Oxnard College ASG would like to congratulate all of our summer 2026 graduates. We recognize the dedication, time, and sacrifice it takes to complete your education, especially during summer when many students are balancing other responsibilities and fun. Congratulations, graduates. Items 7.4.2, approval of a compliance coordinator ADA/accessibility position at the District Administrative Center. Oxnard College ASG is in support of this item and appreciates the continued focus on ADA compliance and accessibility. ASG has constantly advocated for an inclusive campus where all students can access their education, resources, facilities, and campus activities without unnecessary barriers. We believe accessibility is an important part of student success and equity, and we support continued efforts to ensure our campus remains welcome and accessible to everyone. Item 9.1.1, approval of district-wide electric vehicle charging fees. The OCASG would also like to inquire more information about how these fees would impact our students. Thank you.
Thank you. With this, we now move on to reports. And again, the reports that were submitted were reviewed by the Board of Trustees. So this is just an opportunity if you wanted to just highlight anything from your reports, or if you didn't get the opportunity to submit it, if there's one or two items that you'd like for the board to know about that you'd like to highlight, you can do so at this moment. So Ventura College Associated Student Government. I'm sorry.
Torres, Board of Trustee members, Chancellor McLennan, and Student Trustee Velasquez. We would just like to let you guys know that ASBC has successfully held our annual fall retreat where we have boarded and had the opportunity to collaborate, build stronger relationships, and review each other's director roles and responsibilities. We have successfully onboarded all 12 of our members and welcome our student trustee during our retreat. And along with that, our executive board has continued preparing for the academic year and boarded develop and strategic planning, including reviewing ASBC constitution and bylaws, continuing our involvement with SSCCC as well. We are also preparing for our upcoming ICC training. We ensure clubs and organizations are ready for a successful start for the semester. We have also begun upcoming events and activities for the month as for the next year is to increase student engagement and build on-campus community. Thank you.
Thank you. Oxnard College.
Good evening, Madam Chair Torres, members of the board, Student Trustee Velasquez, Chancellor McLennan, and guests. My name is Natalie Jimenez, and these are my highlights for my report of the month of August. Also first, I want to say I really appreciate the board reading my report. I do put quite a little bit of effort into it, and I'm gonna put more visuals on it for you guys, so it's making more fun. A fall semester preparation and student support. The OCASG has been working to create a welcoming and supportive experience for our students, those new and returning to our campus. During the first 2 days of the semester, the OCASG had the pleasure of tabling alongside our classified and academic professionals to assist students with finding their classes and connecting them to important campus resources and services. Student representation and campus engagement. ASG continues to prioritize increasing student representation and creating more opportunities for our students to connect with their campus community. Recently, ASG had the amazing opportunity to present during our Condor Fest, where we welcome incoming student, our incoming student orientation, where we welcome new students and share information about student leadership and a few upcoming events and initiatives we have. We have our Women's Equality Day tabling event ran by our Director of DEI on August 26th, and our Academic Arcade ran by our Director of Academic Affairs on August 25th. Thank you.
Thank you. AFT, is there a report that you have? No report. Thank you. Thank you. SEIU, any reports?
No report, thank you.
Classified Senate Presidents, any highlights for Ventura College? No? Okay. Oxnard College? No. Moore Park College?
Hello. Is everyone able to hear me okay?
Associate student. Okay, we can hear you. Associated Student Government, Moore Park College.
Yes, thank you so much for meeting with me, guys. Sorry I'm here via Zoom, but I'd like to give my president report on what ASMC has been doing so far. So just to introduce myself, hi everyone, I'm Antonia Hawkes. I'd love to give just a quick update on what ASMC has been working on. Overall, this year, Moore Park College will be celebrating our 60th anniversary, and overall, ASMC has been working with communications for alumni and outreach. Along with this month, August 28th, we are hosting a club leadership conference with another ASMC board member that will be including up to around 200 guests with another ASMC member with Rachel Yee, and as well as attending multiple campus events and meetings with other student representatives. And we have just had our welcome week as well, and we intend on working on our club conference. So thank you. That was just my president report.
Thank you. Moore Park Classified Senate.
Thank you. Melanie Matthews-Select, representing Moore Park Classified Senate. I'd just like to highlight a few additional events and initiatives that have taken place over the past few weeks that weren't able to make it into our report. The Moore Park College Accessibility Task Force recently had its second cohort complete the 4-week Demystifying Accessibility Training Program. Last week, the Library and Tutoring and Learning Center also hosted a summer bridge program for incoming first-year students taking English or math class. As we started the fall semester, Moore Park College hosted the New Student Welcome, where students had the opportunity to visit a student services resource fair, attend a welcome and student panel, and connect with faculty and fellow students in major specific breakout sessions within their area of interest. We also hosted welcome tables over the past 2 days to greet students as they return to campus and answer questions. And finally, registration assistance workshops have been offered over the past several weeks in collaboration with the Student Success Center, Admissions and Records, Counseling, Financial Aid, and the Student Business Office to help students with every aspect of onboarding for the fall semester. Thank you.
Thank you. DAC?
Good evening once again. My name is Diana Martin, and I serve as the Classified Senate President for the District Administrative Center. I'll keep this brief. This month marks the DAC Classified Senate's 5th anniversary. 5 years ago, a group of classified professionals came together to build participatory governance representation for staff at the District Administrative Center and district-wide services, and that work continues today. I will also note our 2026 officer election cycle has concluded. We proudly welcome Lauren Gutierrez Gentil to our board as fundraising officer. I'm looking forward to what year 6 brings. Thank you.
Thank you. Ventura College Academic Senate.
Thank you. Jennifer Garner, representing Ventura College Academic Senate. I'm pleased to report on the success of this year's Faculty Flex programming held August 5th through 7th in Guthrie Hall under the theme Engage and Inspire. Faculty spent 3 days deepening their work in student support, AI and classroom practice, and shared governance and safety, always grounded in the college's mission and equity priorities. I want to thank the Faculty Professional Development Committee for their thoughtful planning, along with every presenter, panelist, and support team member who made the week possible. Their work gave faculty practical tools and, just as importantly, real time to connect with colleagues across campus. On Friday, August 7th, during the All-Campus Day programming, the Academic Senate held its meeting of the whole. The Senate took action to approve the Ventura College Participatory Governance Handbook for 2026 to 2032. And we're also pleased to present this year's Academic Senate Awards selected through peer nomination. Rosie Stutz was recognized for service to students. Rosie demonstrates a dedication as a part-time counseling member, providing students timely, caring support that keeps them coming back for guidance. Eric Martinson was recognized for service to faculty. Eric has dedicated 14 years of steady, generous leadership as English and ESL department chair, and for becoming a trusted resource, helping colleagues explore AI in teaching. Tercy Arias Young was recognized for service to college. Tercey was the driving force behind the centennial celebration for the science division, bringing a visiting astrophysicist to campus for an evening the college will long remember. Guadalupe Moriel Guillen was recognized for service to community. Guadalupe has dedicated nearly 3 decades of service to students across the district, and her community leadership expanding education and economic opportunity for women through the Seroptimist International of Ventura. And the Ventura College Academic Senate President's Award of Merit was presented to the LGBTQIA+ Inclusion and Allyship Task Force, consisting of Gardy Borromeo, Diane Collings-Ralph, Brian Hodgkin, and Angela Madsen. The task force spent a year of dedicated work researching, consulting, and collaborating across campus to help Ventura College better support LGBTQIA+ students. Thank you to these faculty members for the service they so generously provide. The Academic Senate wants to welcome Dr. Renee T. Watson in her role as the Interim Vice President for Student Affairs at Ventura College. Faculty are glad to build a strong working relationship with Dr. Watson, particularly around student retention, first-generation student success, and continued collaboration between academic affairs and student affairs. We appreciate her experience and look forward to a productive partnership in support of our shared commitment to student success. Welcome, Dr. Watson. And finally, I share this report with a heavy heart. Our colleague, Linda Carroll, passed away recently, and the Academic Senate wishes to recognize her for many years of service to this district. Linda's history with VCCCD began as a student worker at the Moore Park College Library from 1999 to 2001. She returned in 2007 as a library assistant at the Ventura College Library, where she played an integral role in launching the textbook lending library. After earning her master's in library and information science from San Jose State University in 2011, Linda became an adjunct librarian at the Ventura College Library and also served as a librarian at the CSU Channel Islands Library. For the past 15 years, Linda was VC's dedicated Thursday evening librarian, working from 4 p.m. to closing. And that was a time slot I was particularly grateful for when Linda would visit my class to support students with the literature search part of their microbiology projects. Linda leaves behind her husband and 3 children, whom she also homeschooled. She was kind, dedicated, and reliable, an excellent colleague, and a compassionate, student-centered member of the VC Library family. She will be missed and fondly remembered by all who had the privilege of working with her. Thank you.
Thank you. Moore Park College.
Hello, I'm representing Moore Park College Academic Senate. My name is Nicole Block. At Convocation, we celebrated full-time faculty, part-time faculty, classified professionals, and managers who have celebrated milestone anniversaries, including 20, 25, 30, 35, and even 50 years of service. And we wanted to give a special shout out to the adjunct faculty member who just celebrated her 50th year teaching, Professor Sandra Patterson. At Convocation, Moore Park College awarded the 2026-2027 Distinguished Faculty Chair to Dr. Eric Reese. He's a physics professor, former Academic Senate president, current curriculum co-chair, and recently reelected to his 2nd year as treasurer on the executive board of the Academic Senate for California Community Colleges. One student called him one of the best physics instructors they'd ever had, hoping to take him for every future course. A colleague called him a great human, recalling how he'd check in on her personally during tense pandemic-era meetings. An administrator called him the conscience of the institution, and I am proud to call him a mentor. Congratulations to 2026-2027 Distinguished Faculty Chair, Dr. Eric Reese.
Thank you. College presidents, Ventura College.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Good evening, Chancellor McLennan, Board of Trustees, Student Trustee Velasquez, and guests. Some additional updates from Ventura College. And we're really excited to welcome students back to college or welcome the new students who are attending college for the first time. The campus community is just brimming with energy, collaboration, and optimism. And I appreciate the leadership and engagement of our student leaders, faculty, classified professionals, and administrators who are really just relentlessly focused on coordination, collaboration, and making Ventura College an innovative and supportive educational experience. We're really excited to welcome students back this week. We welcome new academic faculty, both part-time and full-time, and classified professionals, newly tenured faculty, and newly promoted classified professionals, and congratulations. We also have had the good fortune of hiring some incredible leaders here at Ventura College over the last couple of weeks. It is my honor to introduce Dr. Renee T. Watson, our interim vice president of student affairs, and I believe she's in the back there. Yes. Dr. Russell Frohard, who is our interim dean of the sciences division, and Ron Mules, who is our interim dean of the gateway division. Dr. Watson, Dr. Frohart, and Ron have significant demonstrated skills, leadership skills, strengths, and experiences, and we welcome them to Ventura College and the Ventura County Community College District and are honored to work alongside them and support the work that lies ahead. Lastly, my colleague, Academic Senate President Gardner, I have the good fortune and honor and privilege of meeting Ned Mercedic when I came to the district in February of 2025 and didn't realize just how big of a deal Ned was across the entire state of California. Coaches whom I've interacted with across the state have nothing but praises to sing about Ned. And it's usually followed by a little smirk on their face because Ned was always very strategic in leading his teams to victory. Ned's retirement is a giant loss for Ventura College, and we intend to have some strategic key dates throughout the duration of this year to honor and celebrate Ned and all that he has contributed to Ventura College and this district. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oxnard College.
Good evening. Good evening, Chair Torres, board, guests, people watching, our thousands of viewers on TV out there. I'm excited here tonight. The first week of school always brings a lot of energy. I want to commend our classified Senate President Berenice Rodriguez for providing the leadership along with the classified Senate in organizing our welcome tables throughout campus to help our students, to help them answer questions, make sure they get to the right place, and just to be there as a welcoming, friendly face for our students. So thank you very much for your leadership in making that happen. Also, I want to thank the staff, the classified staff, all the classified staff, the faculty, the students, and all the administrators that worked at those tables, again, to provide that friendly welcome to our students that are coming back to school. Also, a shout out to our Associated Student Government and their efforts. They were all over the place. Condor Fest, they were helping us had several program tables and helping at the welcome tables as well. So shout out to our Associated Student Government. And our leadership team, myself, the vice presidents, deans, and directors have really enjoyed walking around the campus to welcome students back and check in on employees to help make sure things are running smoothly. I'm grateful to our entire campus community for stepping up and making the first few days full of energy and excitement for our students. College with a heart on display. Also, I'm excited to announce that we have also hired two new deans, two interim deans at Oxnard College. We are glad to have their skills and experience as part of our leadership team. Our two deans are Gabriela Rodriguez and Mark Bates, both highly skilled, longtime Oxnard College Condors, and we're so proud and excited to have them as part of our team. Our interim dean recruitment was unique in that it was held in accordance with board policy and did include stakeholder input from the Academic Senate, Classified Senate, and Associated Students. That's not the unique part. The unique part was this job description was written so that each dean would be, the successful candidates would be assigned responsibilities in accordance with their experience, demonstrated strengths, and the operational needs of the college. So our goal here was to identify and align the strengths of the candidates, the strengths of the successful candidates to the needs of the college and the needs of the students. Our goal always is to distribute all management assignments in a manner that we feel will best serve the needs of students. As I recently shared during our All College Day, Oxnard College will spend in 2026, 2027, as part of our 3-year plan to reshape the future of Oxnard College, assessing the college's needs, identifying gaps, and listening to stakeholders. Those efforts will include assessing this our interim and dean assignments, all management assignments, and all functions of the college as well. These efforts will require some new thinking and adjustments as we move forward. Some ideas will work and others will require refinement. Throughout, we will be engaging our campus community in dialogue to understand their needs and collaborate on the path forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Moore Park College.
Good evening, Trustee Torres, board members, Chancellor McLennan, and Student Trustee Velasquez. I want to start off by congratulating the Moore Park College Athletics Program. The program with all the teams were identified as the Western States Conference Commissioners Cup Award winner. This honor, thank you. This honor recognizes a team of a group of athletic teams at a particular institution with a high GPA and a high finish in the athletic conference. They then divide that by the number of events that that institution has held during that academic year. It is a testimony to the success of our scholar athletes in the field and in the classroom. It is of special note that one of the most diverse programs and aspects of our campus is athletics program. And to have those groups of students have the highest GPA in California Community College's athletics programs is not only an honor, but it represents a commitment to our mission. So congratulations and kudos to the faculty, to the staff, the administrators, and particularly to the students of our 17 athletic teams college. I also want to say a very big thank you to a variety of people who have made our last week at the college, where we welcome students to campus through our new student welcome. Our outreach folks, Jennifer Mota and Manuel Selleck, as well as Laura Maldonado from our dual enrollment program, who made our campus a vibrant and welcoming place for our students over a 3-day period. In addition, I want to thank the folks who were responsible for putting together our Flex program for Moore Park College, emphasizing the diversity of skill sets that we need to be able to prepare students for a changing world. Thank you to Kelsey Stewart, Elizabeth David, and Brian Burns. We also want to thank Trustee Puchowski for attending our State of the College address. The State of the College address was put together by our MC Foundation, as well as our Institutional Advancement, Community Relations, and Alumni Program. We're very proud of the fact that we are able to attract members of every single community that we serve, particularly the elected officials, to an event like that. And so we appreciate their continued support of Moore Park College. The rest of the information you need about Moore Park College is in my board report, and I thank you for reading it.
Thank you. Trustee Chancellor.
I had a couple questions and comments on the president's reports. That's all right. Just want to say congratulations on the enrollment jump for Oxnard College. I was in the report. Ventura College, there was mention of a reduction of unpaid or how it was referenced, uncollected students that owe money. And that was reduced by $750,000. So that's huge. And I just want to mention that that's amazing work there. And for Moore Park College, there was some data in regards to the average student with associate degree graduates with 76 units, opposed to just getting out with the 60, and that's better than the statewide average. But I guess it was just really interesting to read that, and I'm thank you for pointing that out. You know, it's great to hear things from the 3 colleges, but all 3 of those reports, I learned so much about the organizations and the leadership and constantly improving and refining what you do. So thank you.
Thank you. District office reports, institution effectiveness, anything you'd like to highlight?
You have my report. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Okay. Business services, HR, IT, public relations, government relations. Okay. Yes, trustee Chancellor.
Reports, that's all right.
Absolutely.
In regards to the institutional effectiveness, there was discussion about or report in regards to the 126 plan and efforts with Fillmore, I believe, but is Santa Paula still part of that group?
Correct. The 126 forward is Santa Paula, Fillmore, and Piru.
Got it. Okay. And then, let's see, last but not least, there was the Oxnard College DAC Counseling Data Development Project. Part of that research, is it looking into the effectiveness of college counselors being stationed at the high schools and how that helps enrollment, things like that?
It's data and metrics related to services offered and rendered. And so specific to high schools, no.
No, but within our organization, like increasing enrollment, I guess effectiveness of that practice.
Correct, along the student's journey from access to entry to progress to completion.
Okay, and when will that report or research be completed?
Well, it's not really research. It's John Cooney, who is our data analyst supporting Oxnard College's team in their IE offices to build the metrics, the dashboards, and the opportunities for program review.
Okay. Thank you for that. And there was reference, there were some public speakers on this, but I guess my question is, as elected representatives, how can trustees become more visible and involved in workforce development and relationships with the Navy? And that's probably a chancellor question, but I know the organization and the three colleges is heavily involved in that, but is there an area where trustees could also be visible and participate in that community outreach as well?
Most of the work that we're doing involves working at the practitioner level with the staff groups and the leadership and the Navy commands. In terms of the program development, the relationship goes to the staff, college personnel. There are events publicly that occasionally are hosted. I think there's a veterans military appreciation coming up this week, actually, Thursday. Yeah, it's not our event, but there are events that are hosted there. So I think any of those things that come out through our chamber organizations or industry councils, or certainly the Navy and RDP related events, we can try to gather some of that up and make sure you have that information. I think just getting out and meeting people is always a good thing.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Interested to do that. And that concludes my questions on the reports.
Thank you. So now we move on to 6.8, which is our board committee reports, and we'll start with Administrative Services Committee.
Yeah, Chair Torres, I think it's my turn. My co-chair, Trustee Pachowski, and I met on July 30th. And the draft minutes are included in the agenda for your review. We received information on electrical vehicle charging fees, 3 selected HR positions, as well as the Title IX report, and approved all of those items to move forward to the board, which are incorporated in tonight's agenda. Trustee Pachowski, anything you wanted to add?
Okay, thank you. I see here that the past committee did not meet in July, but your next meeting is scheduled for August 25th. So looking forward to the work that comes out of the committee. And we also have our boardroom artwork update, 6.83.
Good evening, members of the board, Chancellor McLennan. You have a written report of the update for the boardroom. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Any questions from the board? Trustee Chancellor?
Clarify, you know, there may be room, and I don't want to create another ad hoc committee, but, you know, it's been mentioned by trustee Lichtel, I don't know, 3 months ago about maybe looking into some improvements on the technology in the boardroom and things like that. I don't know if the board has provided enough direction to start the process of looking into that. I don't know if we could receive an update or if that's something that we need a committee to sort of explore different avenues or options.
Thank you for bringing that up. I think it just requires board consensus to provide the chancellor with some feedback related to doing that. I think I've mentioned it at least 3 or 4 times over the last 6 months. I don't know how the rest of my colleagues feel. And I'm not sure if, I think there's been some work done behind the scenes.
Chancellor McLennan?
Not to put people on the spot, but Dr. Watkins, do you have any update? I know we've talked about this and there's some things that you have in mind. Maybe share any progress or thoughts you have on that.
Sure. So we've had a couple of vendors come out and look at our current setup and they're providing recommendations and we're going to get some things to test out and hopefully have them at the September, October meeting for you to try and see if you like them. Part of it is getting the audio from up here back there and then to the folks on Zoom. So it's not just as simple as replacing this with that, but we're working through those details with a couple of vendors.
Thank you for that. Thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah.
Trustee Chancellor.
Thank you. Okay, so 6.8.4, Chapter 2 Board Policy Ad Hoc Committee. Ad Hoc Committee members would like to just share a report, or is it you, Chelsea?
Did you all want me to kick?
We can
or
have
do you wanna
Chelsea kick
start?
it off.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So there's a written report of the overview of what the ad hoc committee has covered at this point, and there is a board policy coming forward to you this evening. In addition, the ad hoc committee is seeking some guidance from the board. They've been reviewing board policy 2735, which governs the reimbursement of trustee travel and meeting expenses. As part of that review, the committee discussed the types of travel that should appropriately be eligible for mileage reimbursement and reached general consensus on several categories of reimbursable and non-reimbursable travel related to trustee travel. Those recommendations are outlined in the staff report. One issue where the committee felt direction from the full board was appropriate is mileage associated with board-related meetings, including regularly scheduled board meetings, committee meetings, special meetings, and other individual board-related meetings. At this current time, trustees are not reimbursed for mileage-related expenses for that. So tonight, the committee is seeking board direction on that question. And based on that direction, we can then incorporate the board's preference into the policy as we continue the review process.
Okay. So if I'm interpreting it correctly, we're seeking direction from the board tonight to see the language that we want to incorporate into our board policy.
Correct. And in your board packet, there's supplementary materials that was provided in advance.
Okay. Okay. So discussion. Ad hoc committee, you had the conversation. What was the thoughts that you recommend for us to consider?
Sure.
Trustee Chancellor.
Yeah, I don't want to get bogged down on this, but I think a little background or history is important. When I was elected about 8 years ago, part of my orientation was a form and the direction of receiving mileage if I were to travel for official trustee work. And of course, there was some guidelines in reference to that. Being a resident of Ventura and we live in a large county, some travel is involved, whether that is to drive to Oxnard College or to drive to Moore Park College or anywhere in between. So the equity piece there was that trustees would be reimbursed for traveling because, and there was even some reference that we used to hold, this was before my tenure on the board meetings were at the Ventura Unified. Anyone in the room ever go to those? Oh, I see one hand. All right. Yeah, off Stanley Road. So that would have been a very large community. I guess it was part of the reason of selecting Camarillo as a central location as sort of a split. Anyways, And fast forward to, gosh, I don't know, 3-ish years ago, there was a change in direction and there was a hard no on trustees, receiving mileage. And there was some reference of IRS code and this and that. And, we then created an ad hoc committee and we discussed it. And what we found in our research is it varies from college district or college throughout the state. Some college districts explicitly allow it and reimburse trustees for mileage. Typically, it's the districts that have large geographic footprints. And I think the goal, being student focused, is what's best for students. If there's an associate government group and a trustee lives hypothetically in Ojai, and that group in Moore Park College would like to hear from the trustee or have that trustee attend a meeting, something like that, the idea was not to discourage travel or prevent that. You could also look at it on a bigger picture, and these are things that we discussed, is do we want eligible candidates or trustees through, future trustees to go for an election anywhere in the county as they should? And I think that was part of the equity piece too. And then also thinking of our student trustee being able to commute and be reimbursed for official mileage for officially that agreed upon reasons that we discussed. So that's a very long-winded conversation that occurred. And I think I'll kick it off to Trustee Lichtel. I'm sure I'm missing things.
Pretty good summation of about a 45-minute conversation, but I think there was two key issues, correct me if I'm wrong, that we really kind of ended on. And one was whether or not a trustee should be reimbursed for attending these meetings, these board meetings. And we had reasons why we would and why we would not. I tend to stand on the idea that we are provided with a stipend for coming to these meetings and being part of these meetings and doing the work associated with the board, not only in preparation for, but during the meeting and maybe post-meeting. So I didn't feel that that would be appropriate. And then there was the second issue is who's going to define, how will we define what district business is, so that we don't end up in situations where trustees are going to meetings that are loosely connected to the district, but not necessarily, maybe endorsed by either the district or the board chair or the board itself to attend. And then we're ending up with a mileage situation. The other thing I find very cumbersome is that I guess the practice, I turned in mileage once in my first year. I heard back you weren't getting any mileage, so I just have let it go since. It's not that important to me, quite frankly. But it's very cumbersome to have to do that once a year. And it's not something we've addressed yet with this policy, something you probably should hear from the board, but there really should be a process by which we're reimbursed, if we're going to be reimbursed on a monthly basis, on a month-to-month basis, so that we don't lose track and so that it maybe is a little bit easier for those doing the fiscal services piece of that. But I'm somewhat agnostic to the issue of the reimbursement. Quite frankly, it's not that important to me, though I think it's a valid point that we don't want to discourage people from attending different events because, quite frankly, at this point, mileage, that putting gas in the tank could be an issue. I do feel that attending these meetings would not be appropriate.
Okay.
As far as reimbursement is concerned.
Any other student
Madam
trustees?
Chair? So in my opinion on this item, it's kind of very tricky because while I do agree with Trustee Lichtel, I think as a student trustee, I'm just representing all the four, including East Ventura College. I think to me it's really difficult at times because one day I actually had to travel to Moore Park for the state of Moore Park, and then the same day I had to go to Ventura College for another event. And so for me, I'm thankful for my car filling up at $89. And if I went in my truck, that would have been a whole different story. That would have costed me like $270. I'm not even joking. It's a 1999 truck. And so I think that a gas stipend would be really helpful for future student trustees and future board members. Gas just keep getting higher in price. One day it's down and then the next day it's $2 higher. And so I myself would use it. I think in the future there might be other student trustees or other board members who would be blessed to have the opportunity not to use the money, and therefore I don't think that they should. I'm one of those people who believe If you're elected to a position, you shouldn't do it for the money, but you should do it for the service that comes out of it. And so while I do believe in doing it for the service, I do believe that a stipend might and should be necessary, especially when you're traveling to 3 colleges that are literally more than 20 miles away from your house. And then you got to go through traffic and you got to go through back roads. And so it's really hard for me. And I do agree with Trustee Lichtel when he mentioned about the Board of Trustees, because that's what I signed up for. I knew what I was signing up for, and I believe it's important that we do these meetings not for the money, but for the best interest of the public. And so I do not believe that we should get stipends for driving here. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other trustee who wants to see me on to? Trustee Pachowski?
Yeah, I'll chime in here. Thank you, Chair Torres. I sit on various boards in this county in addition to this one. I represent the city of Simi Valley on the board of the Area Housing Authority of the County of Ventura. I also am an alternate member to Ventura County LAFCO. And standard practice on those boards is that you get a stipend for the meeting that you attend in addition, as well as mileage. And so, I mean, and then in the case of the Area Housing Authority, that's held in Newbury Park, but we've got people coming in from all over the county. We've got board members as far away as Ojai. Ventura County LAFCO covers the entire county. State law actually does authorize the payment of mileage for events inside the county if we choose to allow it. And frankly, I mean, it's something where I don't know. I don't know exactly where Trustee Chancellor lives, but I think I may probably have the longest distance to get here. And I think that we should be reimbursed for the mileage that we drive to get here to our meetings. And so, I mean, the way what I'm looking at here, I don't really see a problem with it. I think if we're attending a district event, and I've got to drive to Oxnard College, I'm happy to go. I think it's important that we be there. I think it's important that we as trustees attend as many district events and campus events as we can and are invited to. But at the same time, there is an expense that's incurred in doing that. And that should be covered by the district. It shouldn't have to be performed by the individual trustees.
Thank you, Trustee Pachowski.
Madam Chair, if I may jump off of Trustee Pachowski's question, and for me, if that's the case, then shouldn't we give our student government representatives a mileage stipend for coming here as well and to attend events and stuff in their campuses?
Trustee Mantu?
Sometimes you just feel like you have to say something, right, when you're called upon. Personally, I'm ambivalent about it. Do not intend to make claim. That's so, of course, as a trustee, but it is common practice to be particular events. And I am reading the information that was presented. There are types of events where mileage reimbursement would be permitted, and some that would not. It look very logical. I certainly have no interest in being reimbursed 3 miles it takes me to get here to these board meetings. I'm also reminded that of the old adage that it shouldn't cost you anything to do your job. Okay. However, we do ask all of our employees to come to a work site, most of them, I know education, but people have to come to and fro from work, and they don't that. These board meetings are our work. It's like we're coming to work. So I don't think we necessarily need that. but if we're attending graduation, one of the other events that was on that list of permissible reimbursement, I don't know.
Okay. I've never submitted for reimbursement, but that's my personal choice. But I do want to be able to also have a policy for trustees who want to be able to get reimbursed because there is an expense, and just like the student trustee was mentioning, gas is getting a little bit higher and we don't know prices. What I'm hearing from the board is there's some consensus in some type of reimbursement. Am I hearing consensus? Well, I'm going to ask the board. So there's a couple of pulling up the report. We said we're in agreement in terms of trustees getting reimbursed with some things that are permissible, like if they're attending a graduation, if they're attending the convocation that we just had from our different colleges, any type of event or foundations, anything that they're being invited to, that they are getting reimbursed. I heard difference of opinion in terms of getting reimbursed for the meetings here. So what would we like to do about that? I think I hear, so I have here pre-approved travel related to conferences, events of district-wide significance, including college commencements, groundbreaking ceremonies, statewide or national conferences, district or college sponsored. Those, can I say we're all in consensus with those being approved from the entire board? Those specific ones?
That was the consensus of our committee.
Okay. And so is the board in agreement with those, just as we're going over what is allowable, what won't be allowable?
Chair Torres, there is also, I think, one more category which doesn't seem to be on either list. Sometimes there are events which may not be sponsored by district or the college, which may not be district or college events, but it may be sponsored by, like, for instance, an event like
Chamber of Commerce.
well, no, like something that the district is sponsoring, where the district may have a table, and we're there in a district capacity as trustees of the district. So I don't see that really falling either into anything in either of the two categories. It's every once in a while, I know that there was a Boys and Girls Club event last year that I went to. There was the Ventura County Civic Alliance where we were invited, and there was a large district contingent that was there. Those are the ones that I'm asking about. It's a question, not necessarily a recommendation, just that I don't see those types of events falling into either one of these two categories, because you're there in an official capacity representing the district, but it may not be a district event.
I don't recall if that came up during our conversations. Trustee Chancellor may have, but I think that the key conversation that we did have was the connection to the district directly. So if one of us is invited to, I think Trustee Chancellor and I were invited to a event at the museum, at the Ventura Museum, about 1.5 years ago. It was a fundraising event that the district helped sponsor. So in that type of, if that's what we're talking about,
Yeah,
that kind of
exactly,
situation,
that's the kind of situation.
you know, if the feeling is that we're representing the board and the district at that point, which I think we are, then I guess we would need a category. And I think Chelsea's probably the best to wordsmith that, you know, district sponsored, or, you know, by invitation type.
Representing the district.
Yeah. Did you want to add something? Yeah, I'm not sure if that's where you're going.
Yeah, I'm also reminded of the Ventura County School Boards Association that has gatherings on
that's
a
another
quarterly basis where you are essentially representing the district. Because this item is not accompanied by any particular urgency, I would suggest that maybe just going back and tweaking that language, maybe adding some verbiage to cover that eventuality and bring it back to us, wouldn't hurt.
I think that was the intent anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah, that is the idea.
Okay.
Because they were, the ad hoc committee was seeking
So
direction.
but so here is, you know, you're the elected individual at the Ventura County Office of Education, Trustee Pachowski, correct? You were selected by our board to
Last
represent
year.
us there last year.
Last year, you're talking about
Yes,
the.
right.
Exactly.
And then they have monthly,
No,
Ventura County.
The man to the.
Okay.
We selected him.
And,
last
and they have ongoing meetings once a month.
Quarterly.
Okay.
The Ventura County School
So
Board
my-
Association's.
Regardless, if a second trustee chose to go to that meeting, you know, so these are the nuances that I think we need to really so if trustee Mantooth is our representative there, and then I decide just to pop in because I've got nothing to do on a Monday night, maybe, am I eligible for reimbursement? And you know, so where does that?
That wouldn't come into play because that meeting is only really held once a year. And it's
Right.
held in conjunction with the Ventura County School Board Association.
Right.
Quarterly meeting.
Yeah.
So I know I think at least 3 of us have been to the VC
Yeah.
School Board Association meetings where we're there as trustees. So I would think that would be one of those types of scenarios. That information does come from the district.
So, you know, we've taken 3 or 4 bites at this apple, so we want to bring something back that is going to be prepared to move forward. So, Chelsea, do you have the information you think that's kind of been presented that we want to add? And then we haven't talked about the general consensus not eligible for reimbursement. So I think we should look at those external meetings or events not sponsored by the district or one of its colleges, including constituent meetings, because that came up during our ad hoc committee meeting. I think Trustee Chancellor, you mentioned something about meeting with constituents, and I kind of felt like that was probably not appropriate. It could lead into some issues. Campus sporting events, performances, exhibits, lectures, what have you, staff luncheons and dinners, civic center events conducted on district property, but not necessarily connected to the district. So those are nots.
Student trustee and then trustee Chancellor.
To take a 5th bite out of the apple here. I gotta say, so when everybody's saying representing the district, why won't we just call the role district representative? I think that would be more necessary. But then you have to break it down through categories. Were you invited to attend this event? Did you decide to attend the event, like a 4th of July event at the park? Would you get mileage from that? Or would you get mileage if you're invited as a school board member? I think that's the biggest question here that we gotta figure out. Because if I just show up to an event at a park, let's say I just put on my badge and say I'm the student trustee, and everyone's gonna be like, okay, cool, sit down and take your seat and listen to the lecture. I don't think I should get not representation, a stipend from that. I think it would make more sense, even though I'm pretty sure I won't accept it, is getting a stipend for an event you were personally invited to or invited as a board to attend, and just being acknowledged as a board member that was a representation of the district, also known as a district representative. So we got to break it down through other categories. So that's just my 2 cents into this question we're being asked. Thank you.
Trustee Chancellor.
I think we have some good information. I don't want to get, I think we spent a lot of time on it, and I don't want to get into the 8,000 different scenarios that could exist. I want to remind our board, we have an ethics policy. We also have a layer that within the policy of being reimbursed for mileage, it's not a guarantee. We submit it and it is approved by our chair. And if there's something that is found to be, that actually is not a reimbursable action, then the chair it would be that responsibility of the chair to let that trustee know. But I think that we are professionals and we can make professional decisions when it comes to seeking reimbursement. And I know that was very clear to me when I went through my orientation. So I don't think it's necessary to go into every single scenario and list it all out. We're overcomplicating it.
Chair Torres. I
Trustee
completely
Mantu.
agree with trustee Chancellor, and his sentiments. And, I think as responsible adults, we have the guidelines in place. If we add this wrinkle that we talked about, with regard to those events, that, we discussed earlier, I think we're good to go. Because you can parse this out, add in tonight, and ask, what about this? What about that? Let's also not forget about the intrinsic value of just going and showing up at these events as part of our responsibilities as cheerleaders and advocates for the community college district. And in many, if not most, if not all cases, we're not having to pay the price of admission either.
Thank you, trustee Mantu.
Madam Chair.
Student trustee, and then we'll move on. Yes.
If I may add on to that, I think it would be good to have some guardrails into the gas stipend because we do not know the future of this board, and God forbid we get a conflict of interest board where if a friend becomes a chair and they start doing gas mileage stipends just for XYZ events that have nothing to do with the campus, then if the chair approves them and there's no guardrails to prevent them, then they could easily make money off of the campus's funding. And I think guardrails are really important. That's the thing that keeps this board going is guardrails. So I would suggest adding guardrails if this goes back to the committee. Thank you.
Chair Torres, I agree wholeheartedly. And the reality is ambiguity is what creates issues. So though I don't want to get in the weeds with what's permissible or not, we have enough smart people in the room that we can figure out some language that covers the majority, if not all of those scenarios, so that it's not ambiguous in any way and somebody doesn't get in trouble. This is as much about protecting the board as it is, making sure that from a fiduciary standpoint, we're not going beyond what's appropriate. So that's why we have board policy and administrative regulations, is to get into the weeds, to get into specifics, so that we don't have issues. So I don't think we can be specific enough, quite frankly, especially on an item like this, for board members that are going to seek reimbursement. So I agree, and thank you, trustee Velasquez, for that.
Okay.
Chair Torres, I agree with trustee Lichtel.
Trustee Pachowski.
The only thing is, I don't think I don't know that we have reached consensus on the remaining policy questions the ad hoc committee asked us to consider. So I would just like to make sure that we do that.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what the ad hoc committee is asking for, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Want some guidance.
Would be the issue of mileage reimbursement for attending these meetings.
Regularly scheduled board meetings, board committee meetings, special board meetings, and other individual related meetings. As mentioned on the board discussion.
Okay, my 2 cents worth, I don't have a problem with. I suspect that there are many trustees who will not submit mileage requests anyway, particularly when it's not a hardship. And to allow that avenue to be open to those who may need to do so, this should be permissible. So I think of the language as it stands, I would support.
Sure.
Trustee Chancellor.
I also support that. And I think one of the things that's important to recognize is, within board leadership as vice chair and chair, there are significantly more meetings to attend, agenda setting, things of this nature, perhaps one-on-ones with the chancellor in regards to agenda setting and things like that, 2-in-1. So I second trustee Mantu's.
Do we require a motion for this then, or?
It's not an action.
It's not an action.
They're getting consensus so they can hear from the entire board. So and trustee Pachowski.
I agree with trustee Mantooth and trustee Chancellor.
Trustee Lichtel.
I think it may be best for me to recuse myself from this policy in particular and allow another board member that feels a little bit more passionate, perhaps, or is more in line with the thought process that we're hearing this afternoon or this evening rather. Because as I said before, I'm completely and totally opposed to getting reimbursed for any mileage coming to these meetings or any other meeting to this boardroom or building, because I think that is like going to work. And I don't know too many people other than Uber drivers that get reimbursed for going to work. So I think if that's the road we're going to go down, I think that I'm going to cloud it way too much, and we're not going to end up moving a policy forward. I'm happy to step aside on this one in particular and then vote no on it when it comes to us if that piece is included.
Okay. Student trustee.
Wait a second. In regards to into this this item in the agenda, well, I do agree with it because I myself might use it, not for 100% certainty. I don't think I don't think it would be fair though, in my opinion, to vote on something that I think that some student representatives should deserve as well for their hard work and attending events on their campuses. And I know some of them live a little bit farther than their home campus, and they do it because they love their campus. And so for me, I don't think that it'd be fair. In a lot of ways, I think the wording has to be done right as well. I'm really big into writing, and someone who's studying law, there's always ways to go around the cracks, and the wording has to be right. We do not want we don't want a conflict of interest happening eventually in the sport that would cost probably even a lawsuit to happen. And so therefore, I would have to abstain unless the wording gets changed. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. So I agree with Trustee Mantu, the way he just worded it. I think there's the trustees who won't use it, haven't used it, and won't use it. But if there is a trustee who would want to get reimbursed for the mileage and some of the areas that they go and represent us, I know that I'm very appreciative and thankful for the trustees that are able to go to some of the different areas and represent our district so we're visible. And if they'd like to be reimbursed, I definitely want to make sure we have a policy that reimburses any trustee who would like to get that reimbursement for their service. So this will go back to the ad hoc committee, and then it will come back to us as a board, so we're able to take an official vote of what we would like our policy to be. Okay, thank you everybody for your input. And with this, we now move to approval of the consent calendar,
Chair Torres, I move we approve the consent calendar.
with the exception of Trustee Chancellor's 7.2.9.
Yes, sorry about that.
That's okay.
I'm so used to pulling items
I'm
that
sorry,
I
what-
didn't pull one tonight, and so I forgot about that Trustee Chancellor. had.
What was that number again? 7.2.9?
7.2.9.
And trustee Chair Torres, I would like to second that motion with particular emphasis on item 7.3.2. The summer 2026 candidates. And certificates.
And
Trustee Chair Torres,
So
I would like to add one thing about 7.3.2. As I was going through the report, I forget which college it was. I just want to point out that one of the graduates is also named Gabriela Torres.
I noticed that. I did. I noticed that too. I did.
It happens all the time, right? Can I make a comment about the consent items before we vote on those? I think there's an item on here, 7.4.2, approval of compliance coordinator, ADA accessibility position at the administrative center, that I think does merit at least a mention of appreciation to the chancellor as well as to district staff for bringing this kind of position forward, which I think is very needed in general, but also I think will serve a huge purpose for our district, not only with compliance issues, but also keeping us out of litigated issues as we better navigate those statutes. So I want to commend the district, the chancellor, and whoever else was involved in creating that position.
I really do appreciate that, Trustee Leckel. The third, so those two things are very important. The third piece of it, and what we hope is really the primary driver of this, is equity. And equity to access and equity to being able to take advantage of the programs and services fully that the district has to offer for everybody who would seek to benefit from them. That's really the big piece of that. But those other reasons are important.
With the word access, I think the more access we provide our students, the better off we all are. So thank you for that.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve the consent calendar with the exception of 7.2.9. Motion made by Trustee Pachowski, seconded by Trustee Mantu. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Trustee Chancellor, 7.2.9.
On one of the transfers, there was account code 7999. It says reserve for contingencies and it college-wide. I was just wondering why that showed up on the transfers. Is that typical?
It is very common. 7999 is a major object code that is assigned to the contingency fund. Our campuses, all of our campuses have a contingency fund that they use to pull from to provide flexibility in managing any unforeseen financial needs that can occur throughout the fiscal year. The line item that you're pointing to is from Moore Park College for $70,000, 694. And that is a transfer from contingency into several of their different programs there. Specifically $15,000 to support the academic senate release time faculty travel, another $35,214 to support athletic student travel, $18,165 for supporting additional support to the Career Center outreach supplies. And the last one was $2,315 to support graduation supplies. That was your total of $70,694.
Okay, motion made, okay. The motion to approve 7.2.9 made by trustee Chancellor, seconded by trustee Pachowski. Student trustee, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Trustees all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. With this, we move to action agenda items. We start with 9.1 business and administrative services and 9.1.1 approval of district-wide electric vehicle charging fees. Did I miss some of the board policies?
Yeah.
I sure did. Thank you. It did. It looked like it was incorporating consent. Thank you, Joey. Okay, so board policies 8.1 approval of revisions to board policy 2305 annual organizational meeting.
Second.
Okay. The motion made by trustee Mantu, seconded by trustee Lichtel. Is there any need for discussion? Okay, student trustee, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Trustees all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Motion passes. And now we move to 9.1.1.
Thank you very much. So the district recently installed level 2 EV charging stations at both Moore Park and Oxnard campus with some pending stations to be charged at Ventura College. And this item is seeking approval for a usage fee to offset the upfront capital and ongoing operating expenses of the chargers. The recommendation is for 57 cents per kilowatt hour. More specifically, the usage fee is intended to offset the cost of the charging equipment that we purchased, installation, electricity dispensed, routine maintenance, the software fees from ChargePoint, and the transaction fees. And I have with us today, we partnered with NV5, who is our energy consultant. And I know there were some questions about the methodology used to come up with that rate. So they are also here available in Zoom land if we have questions regarding how we got to that rate. I just want to point out that the direction that was given was to ensure that this became cost neutral for the district. So we are not subsidizing the EV charging, and that was the intent, and that is the direction that we went with in that recommendation.
Trustee Lichtel.
At 57 cents per kilowatt hour, at what point will we break even?
Right now, I believe we're out at 10 years, and Arthur, if you were on, I believe that's what the analysis came back. If we get the usage, because we need to also continue to monitor this, and we may adjust down if we need to, or up, but right now at that rate, we're looking at a 10-year return on investment.
That's correct.
Thank you, Arthur.
Trustee Chancellor.
I don't own an electric vehicle, so 50 cents a kilowatt. I don't really have anything to compare that to, but if I did own an electric vehicle and I were to go somewhere else and charge it, how does it compare?
I don't know all of the prices for charging. I mean, the EV charge rates throughout the county vary, and they're very for a variety of reasons. At one point, there were a lot of subsidies coming from the federal government. So some of that offset the cost of buying equipment. So some institutions were able to purchase or get their equipment at much better rates. Some of them, when we looked in, they haven't changed their rates in several years. So we don't even know if that's current. some cities and government entities made a deliberate intention to subsidize EV charging because it was part of their goal to have the community buy electrical vehicles and use them. So they offer it totally free. So Tesla offers EV charging at a certain rate because it's part of their business model. They sell the cars and they give you the electricity at a cheaper price. So there's a multitude of reasons why there's a variety of different costs out there, but we did look at all of the cost. And I have Arthur, maybe you can speak a little bit to how we came to that. We looked at that just more for reasonable, if we were reasonable within the price range. Anywhere, was it Arthur, 23 cents to 69 cents? I don't want to speak out of turn on that, but it was about, that was the range countywide.
That is correct. So prices range from roughly 20 something cents to 50, 60. You know, like you said, it's kind of all over the place.
Doesn't it also, does
I actually can answer Trustee Chancer's question pretty extensively. I also don't own an electric vehicle, but I have a brother-in-law who does, and I checked with him as far as where I could find rates that were in the same vicinity as our chargers, and I actually ended up coming across the ChargePoint app, independent of the report. Now, when this came before ASC, I hadn't looked into this at that point yet. So since then, I did go and download the ChargePoint app, and I compared pricing between the proposed rate and other nearby charging stations. Because I live in East County, I looked at the ones around Moore Park College first. At our campus, we've got 57 cents a kilowatt hour, but for instance, there are 4 ports located near Simi Valley City Hall. They're probably the closest ones to the college. The rates there are set by the city of Simi Valley, and they're charging 24 cents per kilowatt hour and $1.50 an hour, 30 minutes after charging stops. Other chargers in the area of Moore Park College are located at Arroyo Vista Community Park in Moore Park, and there, the city of Moore Park has set the price to 49 cents per kilowatt hour. At University Village in Thousand Oaks, they're charging 27 cents per kilowatt hour. And across the street at Cal Lutheran, they're not charging anything at all. The city of Thousand Oaks is charging 26 cents per kilowatt hour at Caneo Creek Park on Jans Road, across the street from the Goble Community Center. And they're charging 35 cents per kilowatt hour at the Thousand Oaks Civic Arts Plaza. Meanwhile, shifting over to Ventura, the county of Ventura charges either 32 cents per kilowatt hour or 34 cents per kilowatt hour. Plus at both locations, $1.50, 30 minutes after charging stops. And that's at the government center. County's charging 34 cents per kilowatt hour plus $1.50 an hour, 30 minutes after charging stops at the HSA Children and Family Services on Telephone Road. 2 locations which are actually charged more than the proposed rate are Ventura Toyota, which charges 64 cents per kilowatt hour with a $5 per hour station time rate after 3 hours. And at Community Memorial Hospital, where they're charging $1 per hour, not kilowatt hour, just straight dollar per hour, as well as $1 per hour, 30 minutes after charging stops. Heading over to Oxnard, the Oxnard stations at 5601 Edison Drive in Oxnard are free, while the county of Ventura charges 34 cents an hour per kilowatt hour, $1.50 an hour, 30 minutes after charging stops at Vanguard Health on Vanguard Drive in Oxnard. Surfside 1 HOA is charging 25 cents per kilowatt hour and $1.50 an hour after 10.5 hours. And that's located at 295 East Surfside Drive in Port Hueneme. The Port of Hueneme charges $1.60 per hour, not kilowatt hour, at 105 East Port Hueneme Road. Naval Base Ventura County does not charge for charging. It's completely free. I did also reach out to the city of Simi Valley for a copy of their staff report from when they established their 24 cent per kilowatt hour rate. And Their staff actually offered a comparison to what other cities charge in California. I do have a copy of that if you want to see it. I did this with relatively little effort, to be honest with you. I sat there on the app and played with it for about an hour. To me, you know, most of the cities in the county are charging as much as 58% less per kilowatt hour. And so my concern is, if it were me, I'd be going to either the city of Simi Valley or even Moore Park, if I went to Moore Park College, and charging my car there because it's cheaper. And so I don't know how we're going to break even at the proposed rate of 57 cents per kilowatt hour, because I just don't think we're going to have the volume necessary to pay for the equipment.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other comments from trustees?
Wow, that was a lot. Trustee Pachowski. I know where to charge my hybrid now throughout the county. There are some nuances related to peak times, whether you're charging in the morning or the afternoon or in the evening. It's cheaper, more expensive, what have you. The other thing I think is missing here that, as you were speaking, I thought of is that as much as we want to make money on this, this is also there as a service and a courtesy to our students, maybe our staff, and the idea of paying, I don't know, between 15 and 30, 25 cents more per kilowatt hour to charge at work or while I'm at school, maybe isn't awful. I don't think we're gouging people, so to speak. Obviously, we're not the most expensive. So, yeah, almost.
You know, as a comparison, the average EV gets about 3 to 4 miles per kilowatt hour. So if you're looking at that, you're looking, it's about 16 cents a mile. So it's probably close to like $15 for 100 miles if you were filling up on electrical. So I'm not sure. It could be, the difference could be they're paying $15 to fill up at Moore Park versus $13 to fill up at Simi Valley, and they may feel for the convenience of being there at the campus while they're in school, not having to park over at Simi Valley and catch a bus to come to school and then catch a bus to go back to get their car charged up. So you know.
Yeah,
Chair
one,
Torres,
Trustee Mantu.
just to take us back to the fact that we hired a consultant to estimate what the cost would be, not only for the power itself, but maintaining all of this.
And the software.
And the software and so forth, that the idea was cost recovery, no profit, and that this will be monitored going forward into the future on a regular, probably annual basis.
Annual.
And so you had mentioned yourself, Dr. Mitchell, that we may find ourselves lowering the price. We may find ourselves raising the price, but we have to start somewhere. And based upon what information we've been given by the consultant, that's why this number's.
Chancellor McLennan.
Yeah, I'll just add one other little wrinkle to this. So when Valerie started this conversation, she mentioned the direction was to be cost neutral, to figure out a plan through this analysis to be cost recovery. We're not here to make a profit. And certainly not here to undercut other for-profit industry people that are out there. That's part of it. But the timing of this is also important to consider. When those principles were laid out, we had an entirely different campus environment. We don't know what's going to happen now. We don't know. If you look at the parking lots, there's a lot of cars in those parking lots, but not as many as there were before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also kind of factor into that which percentage or portion of our students are able to migrate to electric vehicles that are going to require charging. So we really don't know what that's going to look like. But to your point, Trustee Mantooth, we're going to have to do a rolling assessment of this as we roll it out based on these variables, not the least of which is the point I just made about the changing nature of campus attendance.
One of the things that I also wanted to highlight was our students. So we have our Oxnard College Associated Student Government who's here. I know Ventura College just left, but one of the things that I did hear was they wanted to be involved in the discussion, particularly since it impacts students. And so as we look at this policy and we very much look at processes. I think it's really important to be able to have our associate student government present in the discussions because their input is also helpful, as particularly as we talk about the participatory governance process with everything we do. Having the student voice is important. So I would, if there's no hurry to approve this tonight, I'm wondering if this can go back just to allow our students to be able to give feedback to the team and then together be able to make the best decision, having heard from everybody's needs. And then we can bring forward a policy to the board that has all of our stakeholder input, particularly our students. And that would be important to me, being able to gather their input, specifically during consultation and the reports that they mentioned, that was important for them. Student trustee.
Madam Chair, I would like to address Dr. Mitchell, but to get to what Dr. McLennan said, I do agree with him about the students usually doing online classes more now. And my question in that is, what was the student input when coming up with this towards Ventura College?
There was no student input in doing the cost analysis. The cost analysis was just looking at the break-even point, the return on investment on it.
So if breaking even, what would the money be allocated to afterwards? Would it be allocated towards maintenance or would it be towards programs?
It would go back towards maintenance,
college?
repair, to continue to have the EV chargers available.
So would it be possible, what the Chairwoman Torres said about in regards to student input, I think it's mostly important to get their input since they're the ones that are most likely going to be using the charging stations. And as someone who is a student at Oxnard College and who does go to all three campuses for events, I haven't seen a lot of electric vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
And my concern is if we're going to invest money into something that's not going to be making a return investment in the next 10 to 20 years, I don't think it's going to be worth investing into. Another thing that you did briefly mention that I'd like to leapfrog off of was when you mentioned about the buses. The buses are free for college students across Ventura County. So if they were willing to charge their car while taking a bus towards another school, it's really not going to cost them anything to take the bus. Which I did use the bus in my first year of college. I did use it going to Ventura College, which saved me a lot of money. And one thing that I did hear too is when more students are online, that means less students are active in the college campuses, which means there's going to be more parking available, which means there's not going to be as many electric cars charging there.
Mm-hmm.
So how are we going to get a return investment in the estimated time if there's not going to be people attending the colleges?
Yeah, in all transparency, I agree with you. I think when this project first came up to the district like 6 or 8 years ago, as the chancellor mentioned, it was a different campus. So we have already engaged with and purchased this equipment and things have changed. So we're going to have to keep monitoring to see how much we're going to be able to recover from this investment.
Madam Chair, if I may add on to this, could we put this item for hold into consideration as well to get the associated student governments of all three campuses involved to have them do a student survey to see how they would feel about this project?
Can this wait?
The project has already happened. So all those expenditures for the equipment and the infrastructure and the construction have taken place. So this is a recapture of those expenses amortized over, said, a predicted 10-year period of time.
Yeah.
In a world we'd like to see. We don't know if that world's going to be there. It may spread out. We may not recoup the money even at this rate, and we may need to make some adjustments. We may need to downscale the equipment at some point, but the investment's already been made.
Well, I still think the associated student government should still be in the room in the talks of these questions and upcoming events scheduled of construction. It's very important to have the students' voices out there, especially since they're going to be the ones using it in the future. We'll be all gone in a couple years, but they'll still be here. There's going to be new students every year using these electric charging stations. So I think it's very important to have the student representation there. Thank you.
Trustee Licton.
Yeah, I'm going to support Trustee Velasquez on his request that we table this for a month so that we can get some input from students with the realization that the topic at hand today is not whether or not we're going to install and utilize the chargers, the topic today is what fees we should charge. And the fees that we're going to charge apparently are based on a recovery of our investment over a 10-year period. I suppose if we pushed it out another 5 years and said, well, we're going to push that off so we get our investment back in 15 years, we could drop the cost from about 57 cents per kilowatt hour to somewhere around 33 cents per kilowatt hour. That's a discussion we can have. But I think we need to remember that the issue at hand here is the fee, not whether or not we're going to have charging stations, because it sounds like we already have charging stations. So I'm in favor of putting it off because I would like to hear from the students.
Madam Chair, if I may add one more topic to this. So in the student equity plan that was I'd say reassessed in 2025. During my time in Associated Student Government, when we looked over the plan, over 50% of students or more, I believe, were living below the poverty line. If charging a vehicle is more expensive to do on campus than it is at probably a government center or anywhere else, why would they charge their vehicles there? What would they get to benefit from charging a vehicles where they're going to get taxed more on charging it? In my opinion, I don't think that's a very really any idea. I think that would be a horrible idea to charge students who are already struggling to pay more than they should if they could go literally across the street and charge their vehicle. And so that's one thing that I've been thinking about since reading this a couple of days ago. It's just something that it has to be addressed. If students cannot afford to buy basic necessities of food, how are we expecting them to charge their vehicles for more at a college? It's knowledge, in my opinion. Thank you.
Trustee Chancellor, then Trustee Pachowski.
Little history, I vaguely remember when we were discussing this project, one of the selling points was, and I think it was referenced with the app, again, I don't drive an EV, but as people that do, there is a very good chance that these will be seen as sort of like the old gas stations, right? So what I'm trying to say is somebody that isn't a student, but needs to charge their EV, it would pop up on their app. Okay, yeah, okay.
Like gas bill.
Okay. So I guess what I'm saying is maybe the flexibility point is we have the ability for our students to have a lower rate or a much lower rate. And then for people that are outside of our organization that are not students, they would be charged a higher tier rate, something like that. But I agree with you. I think it should go back and at least get student input in that and then move forward.
If I may
We
add
have
on to,
Trustee Pachowski,
Oh.
student trustee, and then you can
okay,
speak.
okay.
Moore Park College alone, and no place else comes close to that. But I mean, I've driven onto the Moore Park College campus, and I don't see a whole lot of people walking around, and I just don't see the volume there to support 100 charging stations, much less at the third highest rate in the county. I just don't see. I think we need to look at this a little bit further.
Okay, student trustee.
I had to turn on my mic because I didn't want him to come out and turn it on for me. But yeah, to jump off what Joe and Trustee Pachowski and Trustee Chancellor said, I do agree with the charging stations not necessarily agree with them, but I agree what they were talking about. We already have enough charging stations, and we don't know how many students and faculty have electric vehicles. And that goes back to the student equity plan. A lot of students can't afford brand new cars, myself included. That's why I drive a 1999 Chevy Silverado. And it is, but not gas is not good. I got it the worst time. But way less. But that's my my question that I want to ask the student government is how many students could afford or have an electric vehicle compared to staff? Because at the end of the day, I think the most important thing is supporting the students. That's why we are here. And we got to find out that number of students either through a survey or through student government evaluation, and to find out if it's even worth that much for them. It's a question that I hate asking, but it's a question that has to be asked.
Right. And Trustee Velasquez, you understand that
Trustee Lichto.
it's not a matter of whether or not we're going to put in the charging station. They're already in, correct?
Yes, they are.
Okay, so it's all about what we charge. So quite frankly, 57 cents for 10 years. If we spread it out over 20 years, we could charge just under 30 cents or anywhere in between. This board we can subsidize it out for 100 years. It's not free. At some point, somebody's got to pay for it, whether it's the consumer in the district or the district. Somebody's got to pay for the electricity and the equipment, right? So we could spread it out.
Or an opportunity cost of not spending resources, not being able to spend those resources elsewhere.
Elsewhere,
That was,
right.
I think that's what the intent was in terms of the recovery principle at the beginning of this, of which none of us were here
Right.
for.
And it's about $1.5 million, roughly. 1.47 million, I think is what sticks in my head.
I'm sorry, I don't have it.
Which
Oh, that's
is-
it?
Which I don't know.
I think the installation cost at 2.1,
Yeah.
just on the
Well,
installation.
just
but
the
then
installation,
There's
2.1.
other costs.
So I'm hearing there's consensus from the board to be able to table this till next month. So the student government has an opportunity to just meet and provide the student input. Is that what I'm hearing? Okay,
I motion it.
Related to costs.
related to
fees.
cost of fees. So,
Clarifying.
okay.
Before we end, I just want to make I just have for clarification. It is a request of the board to go ahead and table it for now. And I can take it through DCAS, which would be the participatory governance that I could take it through, and then they do have representation. It's just a little difficult right now because at the change of the new semester, I don't know who would be there. So I'm not sure how to get to them right now, but that's where we go through. Usually at the beginning of the semester, we don't have students assigned. So we'll do that.
Chair McClellan, Dr.
I think,
Dr.
I think based on the conversation that we've had here, which has actually been very healthy and productive, I think if we were to go back and create some other scenarios, cost models and recovery models, and maybe do that within the context of what we believe has changed. I don't think we're going to be able to get survey information that's going to help us fully say exactly how many vehicles we have and who's going to use it versus, so many people have home charging stations and all that. That's another variable in this as well. But we can certainly come up with some cost related scenarios, 3 or 4 different
Absolutely.
configurations and bring those back for board consideration next month.
I still want to address the student.
With student input on those.
Right.
Yes.
Madam Chair, could
Yes.
I make a motion to hold item 1.9.1.1 for next month and wait to have associated student government input?
Okay. So it's going to be tabled.
2 months.
Yeah. 2 months.
That's what I'd like to say is it might be 2 months.
2
because
months?
We do
I-
want their student input.
You want to amend your
on
motion?
there.
Let's just
I
table it.
I
We
would
can just table it.
I withdraw
Table it
my
back.
my whole month, and I motion to table item 9.1.1.
Perfect. And
Okay.
we'll get it out to the students.
Thank you.
Trustee Chancellor.
Prevent anybody in the next 2 months from charging their vehicles.
Yes,
Okay.
we don't have a rate.
So I would recommend we approve the 57 cents and come back in 2 months and reevaluate, because I'd hate to have this equipment sitting there and students, staff, community members wanting to charge their vehicles. And they can't because we as an organization have some work to do. So I'm happy to change it based on student data and a discussion here, but I cringe to think of 2 months of equipment sitting idle.
So are you making a motion to approve 9.1 as recommended?
I would only do that with the explicit direction that the board gives staff to bring this back in 2 months, and we can, with some more data, revisit this.
Chair Torres, I think we should
Trustee
vote
Mann.
on the motion that's on the floor right now. And then if that motion fails, let's entertain trustee Chancellor's motion.
Madam Chair,
Okay.
if I may address trustee Chancellor, just to verify what he's saying is, I'm just gonna verify with you, is what you're saying is to pass item 9.1.1 as of now and come back to it within 2 months.
We'll take a motion. I just really want to get the student input. And to me, as a trustee of one, when I hear the student government take a position on an item, it means something to me. So for me, I really want to make sure that I honor the participatory governance process and we have our students. So for me, that's my only reason to be able to table this. For me in particular, but we can take a motion and we can decide what direction we want to go. But I know at this moment in time, I'm very much leaning into tabling this to get the perspective of our students, to make sure they are heard during this process, as we do with everything else, because that's important to me.
Chair Torres, if I may offer a substitute motion. I move that we approve a rate of 34 cents per kilowatt hour on the condition that we revisit this rate price within 2 months upon getting input from students.
Chair,
Once
point.
again,
Yeah.
we
We have a motion on the floor. We need to vote on it.
Second is
I'm
on the
I'm
floor.
making a substitute motion.
Absent.
So we have
Well,
to,
somebody has to withdraw a motion.
A
I
motion
think, for you to
and
do
Mr.
that.
Withdraw my second. How's that?
Perfect.
okay, so the motion on the floor, I'm going to turn to the entire board and to Maida. So the first motion is to be able to approve item 9.1.1. And that motion was made by trustee Chancellor to approve it, and as it is at 57 cents kilowatt. Is there a second?
The motion to table, the second's been pulled on the motion to table.
Motion needs to be pulled.
Motion.
That needs to be addressed first.
Madam Chair, if I may address my motion, I know there's a lot of motion happening with this commotion. But I'm never gonna say that again. But I truly think we should table it until we get student input. As you mentioned, as I mentioned, multiple times today, that it's important for us to get the student government input, especially on this item. And anything that's done temporarily ends up to becoming permanent. That's something that I've learned in years of government. And so my motion still stands. Thank you.
To table it, and your motion was seconded.
There is no second.
He withdrawn it.
The second was withdrawn. So is there a second? I second it. So I'll second the motion, student trustee, to be able to table it in order to include the student input. We've had enough discussion. So student trustee, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Trustees all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
So it's trustee Lichtel. Trustee, was it just you and I?
It's you and I.
Okay, so motion fails because we have, I want to say trustee Pachowski, trustee Chancellor, and trustee Mantooth who voted
Yeah,
no.
okay.
Well,
That's the
and
case.
those trustees voting nay.
Nay.
Okay. All right, so now we go
Torres,
to our
I move
second
that we
motion.
approve a rate of 34 cents per kilowatt hour on the contingency that we revisit this no more than 2 months from today.
So we have a motion
So
on the
at
floor
least
made,
in line with the county and not charging large amount.
Madam,
Trustee Torres, I have a question.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor made by trustee Pachowski that we approve this for 34 cents with the contingency that it comes back to the floor or back to the board within 2 months. It's seconded by trustee Chancellor. So now we're going to discussion. Trustee Lichto.
All right, this is a quite a powerful issue that we're dealing with here. Is it possible for us to alter the agreement with this company to move it from 57 cents to 34 cents based on kind of our vote here tonight, or is that going to create?
We can set the rate. And I do want to say one thing just for clarification. I know that we are going to go back to the students, but Chelsea did engage with the students and brought it. And at that time, there were no questions, but we obviously have questions now, so we will go back. I do want to say that because that was the venue we used since we did not have students in session. So I do want to mention that we did do that, but we can go back.
We can't set the rates almost arbitrarily if we want to.
Yeah.
At 34 at this point. Okay. Well,
Yep.
I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't a bunch of contract language that was in place that specifies 57 cents and all of a sudden we change it and there's a contract issue.
Trustee Lichtel.
Yes, sir.
The charge point app specifically states on every charger, not just ours, who sets the rate for that charger. And in our case, it says Ventura College.
All right. Then let's call for the question.
Madam Chair. There's a lot of all talking for this one. I know I expected it to be done like 10 minutes ago, but in regard to the students you've talked to, Dr. Mitchell, may I ask which students you've talked to about this, because the students' governments weren't aware of much conversation.
Hi, it's basically during the Student Trustee Advisory Council, we reviewed the board agenda and this was brought up. And at the time, there wasn't any discussion, but I think after a review, it sounded like there might be some feedback from students. So that's what, to clarify, that's what that was. So it was the Student Trustee Advisory Council.
Okay. A lot of the items too were drafted and to add on into top of that one, it was you clarified with me that the official agenda would be ready by Thursday to Friday, and we had our meeting on Tuesday. So a lot of the links weren't open as well. What I would recommend for Dr. Mitchell or Ms. Russell, we could bring this up again to the Student Trustee Advisory Council, and as well as schedule meetings with the Associated Student Governments of the colleges. This could be put as an item on their agenda, and you could be a guest speaker and talk about this item, and they could either report back to you or report back in their reports of how they feel about this item and come into a conclusion as a written letter, which they have done in the past. As in regards to Trustee Pachowski's motion, I think it would be important to add the student government into that motion, making sure that there are actually in that conversation on paper that we motion to have not table this item, but pass it for 2 months for 34 cents, but also have it come back with the student government input.
That's what it's gonna do.
Well, you didn't.
Detail out in the.
I wanted it to be detailed out, detail oriented. I think to me that's very important to have it in detail in record, because it's just a motion to bring it back in 2 months. But I think bring it back in 2 months plus student input from the student governments of all 3 colleges. Thank you.
Got no problem with that.
So I think you might need to Trustee Chancellor would have to withdraw, and you would have to
No.
or you would have
He
to
can- if he-
amend your motion.
I've got no, I'll accept it as a friendly amendment. So, I mean, as long as Trustee Chancellor's okay with that, he is, then we can move forward. Call the question.
Okay, so the amendment motion made by trustee Pachowski will be to pass the policy for 34 cents kilowatt with the contingency that it will come back to the board within 2 months with student input from the associate student government. And is seconded by trustee Chancellor. Okay. Student trustee, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Trustees all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. 9.2.1, approval of the 2026 annual Title IX report.
Chair Torres, I move we approve the 2026 annual Title IX report.
Second,
Um,
Mr. Mantz is ahead of me.
Okay, I know that I think Andrea was going to present, but it might be no need. And less trustees may have questions, but we have the motion made by trustee Pachowski, seconded by trustee Mantooth. Any discussions or questions from the trustees? Okay, hearing that there is none. Student trustee, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
All trustees in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. Okay, motion passes. We now move to chancellor's report.
You have my written, you have my written report as part of the board materials. I don't really have anything to add other than to just express my appreciation to everybody throughout the district, all the work and effort that goes into creating a fall semester and a fall opening, and having campus students show up on campuses, but all of the work that was done by our college presidents, the leadership teams, the governance groups, constituent groups, to welcome each other back, welcome new employees, and welcome students into this amazing work that we do. I had a chance to visit all three campuses last Friday, and I couldn't be prouder or more pleased with the work that we've done. So that's my appreciation. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Student trustee report.
So, wrote it down this time. A bunch of different ways of doing it. Okay, here we go. I had the great honor of attending the Moore Park State of the College, where Dr. Sunoku talked about it. Really amazing event. Really, really beautiful to hear the history, and especially the students who came out of Moore Park College, and I could tell that there's going to be an amazing future for Moore Park. I also had a meeting with President Becerra and as well as President Jimenez briefly at their colleges, where we discussed issues and topics that we would love to see done to support our student life. And as well as the student life coordinator from Ventura College, Jessica Perez, where we discussed what she would love to see done with our colleges. And of course, I told her what I would love to do. I also had the opportunity to attend the Ventura Associated Student Government retreat, where I gave a small lecture of the importance of governance, and I also talked a little bit about governance since I serve in government roles. I also had the opportunity to give them all Gordo's Hot Chicken. They proudly donated Gordo's Hot Chicken to the student retreat because they believe in the importance, and they're actually alumni of the colleges. So it's them giving back. I also planning on scheduling meetings with Dr. Lewis and Dr. Sunoku and everybody else from the colleges. So slowly but surely, you should all be getting emails from me. And as well as one of the proudest moments I've had this last month is hosting a backpack drive with a nonprofit and a church, where we gave around 180 backpacks out, and as well as we gave out, I'd say, 700 hot dogs, 500 hamburgers, and as well as 180 bags of chips to kids. And the next day, or the same day actually, that morning, I was also helping out with another backpack drive where we gave out another 70 backpacks. And I had the great opportunity to partner with McDonald's West Coast, where they donated over 1,500 food vouchers for kids. And it was just something just to see the students' faces and the little kids getting ready for school. There's nothing better than actually got it right here to show off. They gave these out to every kid that went. They believe it's important for every kid to have a happy meal to start off the school year. And so I was really, really happy to hear that McDonald's West Coast was willing to donate. Another thing that happened that was really tragic was the Idaho In-N-Out shooting. I heard about it, and to me it was just tragic, just hearing the loss of life in that horrible shooting. And for me, I just want to take a quick moment of silence just to honor those people who took their life and those brave people who try to stop this horrific crime from happening, of silence just for those victims. Thank you. And that concludes my report.
Trustee Pachowski?
Yes, thank you, Chair Torres. I had the pleasure also of attending the Moore Park State of the College event last Thursday. I especially appreciated the tour of the new Moore Park College Art Gallery. As I was admiring some of the student artwork in there, I couldn't help but think of the boardroom artwork project that we've got going on, and how some of the pieces that were there could potentially fit into the future plans for the boardroom and the adjoining areas. And would love to see some of those there. We also went right around the corner to the one of my favorite places on campus at Moore Park College, the Moore Park College Makerspace. Some of the attendees got to see that for the very first time. And there was even an offer from one of the attendees to donate a 3D printer to the facility. And so I'm going to be working with Debbie Klein to make sure that happens. The day after was Convocation Day, and it remains one of my favorite days on the district calendar. The morning began at Oxnard College, where I got to see fellow trustees, Trustee Mantooth. After Chancellor McLennan spoke that morning, a bunch of us then headed off in a caravan or semi-caravan over to Ventura College. Admittedly, I'll have to say I walked in on the middle of the results of the campus climate survey. That was a little bit depressing, but you've got to have a starting point so that you can measure how far you've come. And so I'm looking forward to how far the college comes moving forward. After Ventura College, it was off to Moore Park College, where we got to her name was mentioned earlier. I drew a blank.
Dr. Watson?
Thank you. With Sandy Patterson, she told this wonderful story about the first class she taught at Moore Park College. And it was bicycling. I'm not going to butcher it, but it was a wonderful story. And we got to hear another wonderful lecture from one of our Moore Park College professors. That was distinguished chair recipient Eric Reese. Not only did he teach us about physics, he also had the wherewithal to also draw on one of my favorite things from my childhood, Schoolhouse Rock with "I'm Just a Bill." So if he's listening, thank you, Professor Reese. And that's going to conclude my report for this one.
Thank you, Trustee Pachowski. Trustee Chancellor?
I just wanted to add, I know there's a lot of discussion about the retirement of Ned from Ventura College. And I got to see Ned on the basketball court numerous times and attend games. But one of the things I want to give some props to Ned for was a phone call he made, and he goes, "Hey, can you meet me down at Ventura College? I want to show you some of the state the college is in." And at that point, this was years ago, the college needed a little love in respect of the landscaping and some of the facility stuff. And I'm sure Ned's happy now because a lot of those things have been improved, and the campus, I was there the other day, looks amazing. So I really appreciate that passion when you show up to work every day and you really are invested and you want that place of employment, but of service to students to be its best. So, and there was another retiree mentioned in the report, and that was Doug Thiel. And I remember when I first was elected to be a trustee, his patience and wisdom to help the transition from, into being a trustee. So my hat's off to that. And I also attended the Ventura College event the other day and got to hear our chancellor speak. And also heard the campus climate survey. And, you know, I don't want to go back too far, but I don't know if it was a year, 2 or 3. As a board, we were hammered by people begging for us for the work to occur, which was, hey, there's a problem at Ventura College. It needs to be addressed and please do it. And it's so wonderful, even though some of the data coming out is tough, but at least you're doing it. And my hat's off to the chancellor and president for doing just that, and moving forward and improving. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Trustee Lichtel.
Thank you for that. I too want to acknowledge our new employees and our retirees, our new employees, including those that have hung out with us for the entire evening. Thank you for doing that. And I also want to thank our public speakers that came out before closed session as well as before our open session meeting and expressed either their concerns or kudos for the chancellor and expressed you know, some of the needs that we have within our district. Your voices are heard and they're important to us. So with that, thank you all for a really great meeting, and I'll turn it over to Trustee Chancellor or Mantooth.
Trustee Mantooth.
Thank you, Trustee Lichtel. This time of year, I'm reminded of something that it was always a pleasure to say. Happy New Year. This is one of the most exciting times that we experience in education. I did have the opportunity, as Trustee Pachowski mentioned, to attend the convocation day at Oxnard College and spend a little extra time there. And I cannot even count the number of times I heard the word family. And each college has its own unique culture, which is extremely valuable and vibrant. But that is Oxnard's culture. And I suspect if we looked it up in the dictionary, there's got to be some kind of reference to condoms. I will say that some of the administrators before they spoke were introduced with music, and they responded with some dance moves. I would caution them not to give up their day jobs, but it was extremely entertaining. And again, indicative of the kind of, you know, excitement and energy and feeling that there is at Oxnard College. So I really enjoyed being there. Thank you.
Thank you for everyone always joining us tonight, month after month, our students that are always here. We come together as a district just as we're starting the new year. We are a family. We are the Ventura County Community College District, and we move forward together with a big heart, with a care for our students. And that's what drives us, is the work you do every single day. Our students, I wish they would come to the boardroom, but they don't. So reality is, all of you and everybody you represent is what makes a difference. It's what they care about. They don't even know who the board is. They don't really know much of us over here. And so with that, as we start the new year, know that you're going supported for a strong year. We're going hard. We're going strong with a lot of love to move forward the work with our students to ensure that they're doing very well academically, that they know that regardless of circumstances that might be facing anywhere, we are here to support them. We are here to guide them. We are here to love them. We stand together as an entire district within our colleges. And so I wasn't able to make it to the convocation, but know that as the board, we support the work that you do. We thank you from the bottom of your heart. And our students, thank you for everything that you do day in, day out. I know we have student representation. Please let them know. We'd love to hear from them. So anytime they would just want to come and speak to the board, invite them to come here. And as we move forward, we are going strong with beautiful hope, optimism, love, because we are stronger than ever before, and even much more so with everything that we have in our plans. So with that, enjoy the rest of the year as we're going to come next month. I know we have some news that we heard, and so we wish everybody the best. And I know we have requests for future items before we adjourn. So is there any requests for future items before I adjourn the meeting?
Madam Chair?
Yeah, I do actually, Chair Torres. Something you just mentioned actually, and it was something I had raised when I first joined the board. The students may not necessarily be able to come join us here, but we always have the ability, albeit it may take a little bit of work. Unfortunately, it may take a little bit of work on our staff, but we have the ability to hold our board meeting, to hold board meetings at our college campuses. And I would like to revisit consideration of holding at least one board meeting per year on each of the 3 campuses. Just so we can get out so that the students can be there if they choose to.
Okay.
Madam Chair,
Student trustee.
if I may make a future item request, as you and Trustee Pachowski mentioned, and this is something that I've been wanting to push for a while. Is I know a lot of students may not want to come to a board meeting. I think that's something a lot of students don't seem interested in. I myself love going to board meetings. I've been going to them since I was 16. But one thing that I wanted to push forward for is an initiative of getting high school and probably elementary students to go present in front of the Board of Trustees of the Ventura County Community College District and tell them why they want to pursue higher education and what made them want to choose their majors when they go to college. I would expect that to be a good idea, just to have students present and talk about the importance of education. That way they have something to look forward to, and they could know that they're supported by a board. After they present, we could hand over the students a certificate of appreciation from the Board of Trustees, and as well as the opportunity for a photo, and just thanking them for coming out here and talking about why they support colleges and why they look forward to supporting college. This is something that I've been wanting to push for a while, and I know we could have a lot of students come forward from all high schools and all elementaries. We could each pick one each month. Each of us have different schools in our districts, and therefore we could each pick different schools each month. And so it'd be one trustee picks one month, the other one picks another. And so that's something that I've been wanting to push for ever since I got into this board. And if that's something that we could put for a future item, I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
Any other future requests? Trustee? Okay. So with this, we are adjourning
To close session.
our open session, and then we're now going to close session, the Board of Trustees. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening.